We do love you, Leeds. Hey up, everyone. Welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. I'm joined by Adam, my good friend from Late Night Leeds, for a subscriber show. Can you believe it?
Exciting, isn't it? Exciting.
We haven't done one for a while, but all I'll say is come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
I hope there's loads of good opinions. I hope they all disagree with you, Matty, which shouldn't take much, mate. But
I hope so, mate.
Yeah.
There you go. Look, Dr. Cox, Matty and Lofty. How do? How do you doing?
How do?
Right, I'm going to bang that link in the chat now. So anybody watching who wants to jump on, I'm going to try and stick it to 5 to 7 minutes. I've got my stopwatch out here. I don't know. I ain't as good as some people. I don't know how to get alt time and stuff on screen. So, but we're going to try and stick to 5, 6, 7 minutes just to try and spread it out. But there might be no one want to do it. There might be 6 or 7 people want to do it. We will play it by ear as we do on this channel. But the link now is in the chat. So click on that link. Try and get in if you can, and we'll get you on for that time, and we'll have a chat. But yeah, Danny's on. Evening, chaps. Can't wait for this. Going to get some pelters.
What's he going to say? He's going for third, isn't he?
Yeah, we're finishing third now. Gavin, we love you, Leeds. Come on. Let's not drop the ball now. Massive 6 points needed this weekend. Come on, boys. It's a big weekend, isn't it, Adam? Huge weekend.
It's massive. Massive. We go up this weekend. We can. We're so nearly there. It's too exciting. From Luton draw to thinking we're not going to get anywhere, and we're like Sheffield United win up. Well, I can't remember, it was 4 or 5 points above us. And they're too far above to catch them in 5 games, and suddenly being whatever we are above them. It's just we're so close now. It's what it's all about. It's all it means to an end. Just go up, get in the Premier League, and then watch the 49ers invest. Watch them do something. Watch us go somewhere. Watch us be the big club we're supposed to be. Stop being crappy championship team. Let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's make a statement.
I love that, mate. I love that. Really, really confident. Really confident. Where we were a few weeks ago, mate, it's soon flipped round, which happens in football, mate.
Yeah. Well, 100%. You can understand it, can't you? We're the team suffering. We're not winning games of football, and the other two are winning 5 out of 5. Of course, it makes sense to not be worried about everything. But it's just changed. Last few days, it's changed. Last couple of games, it's changed. We are strong favourites now. That's a good picture. Rich got a good picture there. It's like Rich is a character from a soap. Look at that, Home and Away or something.
Great picture. Picture, that buddy. Cracking picture. You've got a face for the TV, buddy. You need to get.
Yeah, isn't he? He's a model.
I've got a face for radio, but somehow I'm on YouTube and I'm getting people watching, which is.
I don't know. You've done me dirty there as well. I look very confused.
That's just what you like normally, mate.
Well, I know that's the problem, isn't it? I say I look confused, but then I realise that's exactly what I look like when I actually look back. Yeah. So it's fine.
Danny, just so you know, mate, I can see you're in the house, buddy, but it's saying device is not connected. They will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream. This link open for anyone, Priestley? Of course it is. Anybody?
No. I'll give Priestley. I love Priestley. What a guy.
Priestley's classic. Yeah, you can come on, Priestley. But
turn your lights on.
You want, turn the lights on this time. Get some lecky paid, mate. But yeah, come on, mate, if you want. But 5, 6, 7 minutes. Gonna try and get some.
Maybe 4 for Priestley.
Maybe 4, mate. We can't go too much. What's this say? I ain't put the doll image on just yet, buddy. No. Honestly,
I've seen it though.
So good. Yeah, so good, mate. Evening, lad, says Lee. Rent paid. Thank you. Yeah, stick a like on the video, please. Gets out to more people. Please subscribe if you're new here. That would be brilliant. Adam was on EastEnders today, apparently.
It was not. Was it Ian Bill? Julian Clary? Who was it? It could be any of them.
Yeah. I think our tails are up now, says Tim, and we're back in the groove again. 100%, mate.
100%.
It's great. What's the Priest saying? I'll wait until Friday night for more Winston's chat. Oh, mate.
Priestley, come on.
Come on, mate. Come on. Right, without further ado, we're going to bring Danny Rumsey in.
Yes, Danny.
Yeah, he had to be in first today.
So you're right.
How you doing,
true royalty.
I'm all good. Can I just get the formalities out of the way first? Thanks for having us on, Matty. And Adam, thank you for everything you do in the backstage of only Late Night Leeds.
Thank you, Danny. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
The links are in the chat as always, Danny, that you've put in. So please check out Callum Passion for Leeds. Please check out Sean at Wilco White's and Danny Rumsey's channel there. Let's get him some. He's been whacking the lives out a lot more recently, Danny, aren't you, mate? So let's get over there and give him some love.
Yeah, I've been seeing him.
Danny, I've been waiting patiently all day for you to come on. Luckily, you're on first. You've got. We'll probably give you 7 minutes, maybe 7.5, mate, because we love you on this channel.
We need more.
What are these pelters you've been telling me you've got for us today, mate? Come on, how are we looking? How are we looking?
I think we draw on Friday night.
It's okay.
Really?
That's okay.
And I think
it wouldn't be a bad point, would it? I don't think.
And then we beat Stoke.
Yeah.
Then we draw Bristol.
Yeah.
And we beat Plymouth.
But you're dragging this out, aren't you, mate? You're dragging this out a little bit. You want it to be that final day. You want it to finish second. I know what you're like.
I ain't bothered if we finish second. I ain't bothered if I lose 20 quid and lose £2,000 if I don't come up. You know what I mean? I ain't really bothered.
See, I'm trying to now look at the league, Danny, and work out where that actually leaves us. Depends on Sheffield United, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, listen, no, I haven't finished. Sheffield United beat Cardiff. Sheffield United beat Burnley.
Yeah.
And then they draw the 2 last games.
You reckon?
Yep.
Mate, I don't think it's a bad point, right? Let me re-emphasise what I was saying. I don't think it's a bad point if we get a point away at Oxford, because I think a couple of draws away and we win those 2 home games, we'll be fine for going up. But I do think we'll win Friday, and I want it to be done Monday. I know you do as well, Danny. I don't think we drop points on Friday now, although I aren't going to lose my head like I normally do with a draw if we do. I just don't think we're going to drop points. I really don't.
When I've been saying it goes to the last game of the season, not the thing, it's to fight it out who finishes first and second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I've been saying last game of the season. I think Monday, depending on the Sheffield United results, we could be guaranteed that we're already up. It's just them last games to see where we finish first or second.
Oxford. Thing is, Oxford are decent. Oxford, Burnley didn't beat Oxford. Sheffield United didn't beat Oxford. They're a decent side. They're missing a couple, but they play that type of football, that long ball, those throw-ins, the get it forward, that type that we don't like to play against. That proper championship football. So I can easily see us not winning that game. Find a way, but yeah, I mean, not say easily see it go either way. But as you say, a draw is probably okay anyway, as long as we beat Stoke. So maybe Sheffield. It's on Sheffield United. Sheffield United are team 5 points behind. They've got to win these games. I can't see them beating you, but you can see them beating Burnley away. Sheffield United.
Yeah, I can see them beating Burnley away 1-0.
It's a big call. That it's a big call. It's a big call.
Burnley have to lose at some point.
They don't, mate. They've only got 4 left.
Well, they've lost 2 all season, haven't they? Lost 2 all season.
They haven't lost any at home, have they? I don't think.
Nope. That's why I'm saying they have to lose at some point.
I hope so, mate. It's I'm going to be gutted with the run they've had this season. If they remain unbeaten and only concede in between 12 and 15 goals, it's a stellar season for them. And to be fair, that sort of form and that sort of pattern of form, it's you couldn't argue if they wouldn't run out as champions, really, could you, with that sort of form? But I don't think Sheffield. I think that's the silver lining in all this, isn't it, lads? That they are playing each other. So when you look at the fixtures, when you look at the maximum points everyone can take, the fact that they've got to play each other, in these last 4 games, it's been massive for Leeds United. It's just been a massive silver lining. It's allowed us to have a little bit of a slip, which we've had, knowing full well that they both can't take maximum points, which has been a bit of a game changer. And now we've picked our form up. I think we're absolutely stellar, mate. Absolutely stellar. From where I was a few weeks ago, losing my shit every single minute of every fucking day. I am absolutely on cloud 9 now, Danny.
Do you know what, though? You weren't losing your shit, Matt. You were just being passionate, which is what I've said to you. You know what I mean? People saying, oh, you're losing your shit and stuff like that. You're passionate. And like I say, I know you can't do what I do. Whether we win, it's a normal day. Whether we lose, it's a normal day.
I can't, Danny, no. You're right.
I'm 44. I'm 44-year-old. I've been supporting them since I was 5. 39 years. You know what I mean? I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
Go on. The thing is, right now, like we're in it. We suffered for so long in 13th and League, 13th Championship season after season, League One season after season, whatever it may have been. So, like this is a good time. Sadly, this is decent for Leeds United. I know we've done much better in the past, but like in recent history, this is decent. So, like I can understand it. Like you see, like the equilibrium and go, actually, we're still in the top 2. So I see what Danny's point is. He's seen it all. He's seen much worse than this. So losing a game of football, shit happens.
No, I get that. Danny, what do you think in terms of Patrick Bamford's role? Because I know you've been very vocal. Did you? Because I thought Pinot was outstanding at the weekend, even though he didn't score. Do you still stand by the fact Bamford's got a big role to play?
I stand by that he scores the winner to get us first or second.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I've scoffed at that. You said it. I know you said that quite a lot, Danny. I've scoffed at that, thinking, like
not scoffing now.
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm late in our leagues. I was picking him to start up front, wasn't I? So I can't scoff it now. Like he's going to be playing some minutes in every single game now, isn't he? So however many minutes it is.
I'll tell you what my bet was start season, right? So my bet was that Leeds finish second. Patrick Bamford comes back and has a role to play. Patrick Bamford scores the winning goal to get us promoted.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think you're going to be far off. I think it was odd in the last game, actually. Perot had a very Patrick Bamford game in terms of he led the line very well, but couldn't finish anything.
He was wearing Paddy's old boots.
Yeah, he had a very Patrick Bamford game. It's an interesting time. Are you confident? So you're confident we'll go up, Danny? You're confident we'll finish second? What about next season then into that? Like, what are you thinking there? Like, it's tough, isn't it? Like, last 2 seasons, all 3 promoted teams, both seasons have gone back down. Like, it's hard. It's probably the hardest time to ever go up into the Premier League, ever.
If we win 10 games next season, I'll be happy.
Oh, mate, if we win 10, 100%, yes. I mean, that's 30 points. You've got to draw quite a few. You've got to look for 40 still. But, yeah, if we win 10, 11 games, we'll be in the mix at least. I think we might do a bit better than that. I don't know, but it's so tough. Suddenly we're going out and competing against established Premier League sides. You've got to hope a Wolves or a West Ham and Everton, whoever it is. Angus Kinnear's Everton is.
They're all going to strengthen, even Manchester United. But I still think that's 6 points anyway. But
I love that. I want to know your opinion, Danny, on Daniel Farke. So if we stayed in this division, which I don't think we will, would you keep Farke? And when we go to the Premier League, would you keep Farke?
That's a great question.
Yeah, so Daniel Farke, if we don't go up, I'd keep him in this league, yeah. If we go up into the Premiership, I'd keep him as well.
What, so regardless, you'd keep Farke?
Wow. Why, if you stay down, why would you do that?
Who is it that's going to get us up?
Well, I think, but Farke's fouled twice. That's the problem.
Yeah. Wow, Danny. There's no way if we don't go up. I mean, I think there's still a conversation where if we go up, when we go up, there'll still be a conversation regardless of what anyone thinks. I think the 49ers still have that. But if we don't go up, Danny, he's gone, mate.
I look at it, right? If you're going to sack a manager for taking you up and you bring a new manager in and he thinks to himself, right, I'm going to go for FA Cup. I win FA Cup, I get fired. It's not going to look good on managers, is it? So Daniel Farke has got his promotion, he's fired. Other managers are going to come in and thinking, hang on a minute, if I win something, am I going to get fired?
Maybe. What's Tesla? The thing is with it, it does happen though now. It happens. It didn't used to happen in football. I think it happens in modern day football that clubs upgrade their managers at times where the manager doesn't necessarily deserve sacking. I think it happens quite a lot. But of course, the problem is the manager's got to be spot on, and you've got to have the people in the club to make that decision and find that new manager. I'm not sure we've got the people or the hierarchy in the club to do that at the moment. The football people, we haven't got a lot of above five. There's not a lot of football people at the moment.
Nope.
That's all.
There needs to be a lot of folk coming in. Some of them, they're not just players.
Yes.
A lot of reshuffling, a lot of hiring people for the roles. Like say Angus Kinnear going. There's a lot of backroom staff that are going. A lot that needs to be shifted around, and we know that having a manager solely in charge of transfers and all those dealings, mate, is not really good. I don't think for the club because he can bring in who he wants, and then all of a sudden, if it don't work out, you're stuck with a load of players that he's brought in. So there needs to be more than just Farke making these decisions for me, and you're very big, aren't you, Adam, on the fact that you think it's Farke mainly making the decisions.
It is. He said in the press conference that he's the manager, he has the last decision.
Yeah, but I think actually it's worse or better or worse than that. However you look at it, that it's not like so. What usually happens, the manager gets the back end, gets the choice when a player presented. I think he does the front end and goes, "This is a list of players I'm willing to accept," and you go negotiate. And because there's no one above him to do that. And I say if that happens in the Premier League, I think we could come really unstuck. And that's why I think we go so late in the window each time because we're look at such a small amount of pool of players. That's an interesting point. It's not actually. Would you buy Solomon if we go up, Danny?
Yeah.
And you'd be happy with the four wingers like Ramazani, Nonto, James, Solomon as your four wingers in the Premier League?
I actually think we're selling Nonto.
Well, yeah, potentially. I think there might be some offers in the summer, and I think a couple, like I think you said before, Danny, a couple might go that weren't necessarily expecting potentially because decent offers come in, and we can upgrade, more parts of the squad. Because if going up for one season, there's not a great deal of money there. If you because you've got to take a risk. And big risk in terms of expenditure, and I say so that you've got to have all the football people in the club to make those decisions. So it's a really, really, really interesting time. I think, and I don't know if you agree, Dan. This is the biggest window. If we go up, this is the biggest transfer window we'll have for 10 years because it's massive. You've got to get this right. You've got to.
Yeah, and I don't think we do any early business. I think it'll be late.
It usually is, isn't it? It usually is.
And that's why when people say Farker's only got 10 games. He can't do nothing if they're not bringing anybody until late window.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It depends what the restricting factor is there, though, doesn't it? If it is Farker, if it is the board, or like how they work together, it's going to have to change slightly. You're going to have to bring more football people in. Is Farker going to be happy? So it's going to be a really interesting summer. Really, really interesting.
Yeah,
in every facet, because you can't go up with a squad and just hope it's going to work and play 3-4 games in the Premier League before you get your two big signings in. You can't.
There's a few players I won't even take up to Premiership that's playing now in this team.
Who are they?
I wouldn't take Joseph for one.
I agree.
I wouldn't take Ampadu. I don't think he can do it in the Prem.
Bullshit.
That's way down. I do not think Ampadu can do it in the Prem.
Nah, he'll do it.
I don't think Rodon can do it in the Prem neither.
Then we are really coming unstuck. If you're right,
yeah,
that's then you may. It's not you. I mean, that's an immense amount of work suddenly. Do you trust Strauch in the Prem?
Strauch?
Yeah. No, I don't. So then you've got two centre backs plus your main DM. I mean, Tanaka goes in there, I guess. Then you haven't got a lot of backup. I mean, if you're right in those points, you need a goalkeeper, you need a 9. You suddenly need 6-7 starters.
I'm going to upset you here. I think Meslier stayed, but I don't think he's number 1. I think we'll get another goalkeeper in and go number 2.
No, I could say he was number 2. Just a quick one. I'm putting the link in the chat for anyone who doesn't know. The floor currently is Danny's because it appears nobody wants to chat to us tonight, Adam. So I'm blaming you, Adam. I'm blaming you.
I blame me too.
The floor is Danny's until somebody else pops in. So the link is in the chat for anyone who hasn't been on here before. It's there. Click on the link and you'll come on and have a chat with us for 5.
People, you can come in. You don't even have to put your camera on. You can talk without your camera. So it's you know what I mean. You don't have to.
If you want to come on for 5 minutes, you can do. Come and put your point across. It's really good to chat to fans and see everyone's opinion. I'd like to know, Danny and Adam, to be fair. Andy Rowe has said there's talk of Ferguson. I've seen this today. Joe reported it as well. A striker once worth 100 million, which is, it was only a couple of years ago. Now 40 million value, but injury prone. Is he somebody you'd want as a Prem striker?
It wasn't worth 100 million. Brighton put the 100 million price tag on him.
Yeah.
So for me, I wouldn't take him.
You wouldn't?
No.
The problem is you buy a striker 40 million, he's got to play every game.
Yeah, I'd go for Tammy Abraham, a lot cheaper.
I like him as well, to be fair. I don't know what he's been doing the last few years. I know he's been in Italy. I don't know how well he's done, but he's a good player.
He's a good player.
Has that been linked? Has that been linked? Has his name come up or?
I think Connor had something on his earlier about it, Tammy Abraham.
There's going to be so many links in there, whether agent-led, media-led, whatever it is. There's going to be so many links. And Tammy Abraham's a good striker. It's probably top 3 of positions we need, but it may be the most important potentially. That striker that's score you 15 goals, you can play off him, plays because modern football, strikers play up front by themselves. Everyone wants a good striker. Everyone. So if suddenly Leeds can sneak in as a newly promoted club and buy a striker that can compete in the Premier League. That's a tough gig, isn't it? West Ham want one, Wolves want one, blah 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 blah. Mate,
yeah, true.
It's tough. It's really tough. So you've got. So you're not going to get the 40-50 million pound player. You're probably going to get the guy that's 25 million that's been performing in France, scoring 12 goals. That you think can come over and step up, that can lead the line, and it's a awful lot of scouting, because of that position.
That's why I said Abraham, because he's done it in the Premiership before.
Yeah, we know he's proven at that level, don't we? I want to ask you two. I want to put a point to you that someone's been on my mind lately. So Ramazani, on this channel, I shout from bloody rooftops. I'm a Ramazani fanboy. I love him. I think he should be getting more minutes. It's something I'm not happy with Farker for. Rightly or wrongly, we're winning games. We're top of league. I'm not going to go into it, as you know, Adam, but I think he should be playing more minutes, right? I want to know, do you think, recruitment-wise, looking into next season and beyond, it's going to hamper us for certain players? The fact that he hasn't utilised certain players who have... There could be a player we're trying to sign who he knows deep down he isn't as good as Ramazani, he isn't as good as maybe Jaden or whatever, and he looks in and goes, if they aren't getting minutes, what chance have I got? Do you think that impacts Leeds in a negative way, or do you think that's not a point at all, lads?
It does impact you. That's why I think we didn't get anybody in January, because we couldn't be guaranteed first-team football.
I think Danny's got a point. I think we did, we go back to January. Again, Farker had a list of 3-4 players he's willing to accept, and Wendia was one of them. Didn't happen. Went Leverkusen. And that was it. And I don't think necessarily people go, "Oh, Ramazani couldn't get a game," or X, Y, Z. I think people, we're getting people that can probably back themselves. But ultimately, it's the front end of it again. That we're only getting people that Farker wants anyway. I say that. I think Schmidt and Ramazani were two he didn't particularly want, and now look at them. They don't get any game time particularly. Look at Solomon. Solomon's one he did want. Look at how petulant he was when he came off at QPR. He walked around a whole pitch throwing a strop. If Ramazani had done that, we wouldn't have heard the end of it. Because it was Solomon, it was fine. So, he's got Farker's his favourites. But by the way, all managers have their favourites. That's the nature of being a manager. You pick your team. You can only pick 11. So it's not necessarily a massive slight on Fark, but if he's your manager, there's limitations in having your manager because the way he wants to do it. Because clubs don't necessarily, lots of clubs don't have managers necessarily. Their director of football's picking players and they say, "This is your squad, go and make it work." And they have to make it work, or they don't. And if they don't, they get sacked. Directors of football have more power, but Fark right now has all the power. So that's what might change.
I agree with what Matt is saying about he should have rotated, but we don't see him in training. You know what I mean?
I know.
Look at Smith. He went away on international duty. The reason why it's taking him so long, he's had to get up to speed at English football. It's totally different.
Yeah.
It's totally different. Ramazani playing in Spain, English football is totally different to what it is in Spain.
What I would argue, though, is regardless of what he's doing in training, I would argue that I've seen players playing on match day who we pay money to go watch who haven't performed and still been picked. So I don't think I obviously I out there training, but I just don't believe that his training's been that below par, because he's still been making bench. And if your training is that below par, you shouldn't be on bench. We saw with Charlie Cresswell last year. I think he should be getting more minutes, but ultimately, right now, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Right then, Danny, you've done 20 minutes and I've got Mark Eddison sat waiting, so I'm going to politely say piss off and we'll see you again soon. Maybe at the end we'll bring look at Adam's face. I love Danny, mate. I love him. We chat all the time. Well, he's like my brother now. He's like my brother. We chat all the time, don't we, Danny? But yeah, stay around and we'll see what time it is, and then we'll try and bring you back on if we can, because that was a good chat, that, buddy.
See you, Danny.
But I'll bring Mark on now, buddy. Thank you, Danny.
No problem.
See you soon, buddy. See you soon.
See you, mate.
Hey up, Mark. How you doing?
How you doing, Matty boy? All right.
I'm good, mate. Nice to put a face to the name. Are you well?
I know I carry celebrity status, so at the end of the day, it's the pleasure's all mine.
How are you feeling, mate? How are you feeling in general with everything Leeds United at the minute?
I'm slightly more cock-a-hoop like the rest of it on the basis of what can happen in a week, just turning all our emotions around, doesn't it, completely? And look, I'm an old timer. I remember the good times. I'm 63 years old, so
never.
Yeah. So I remember Revy Brem with the whole shooting match. I remember I saw all those glory days. And
oh wow, I'm jealous.
God, so, how we've fallen.
where are you from, Mark?
I live in Leeds. I live in Thorner, just outside Leeds.
Oh wow.
There's little Hamlet villages. You don't know any life exists until 9 o'clock at night with people left.
You stumble across it, yeah.
How do you think this weekend's going to pan out, the Mark? I mean, I don't know if you like guessing and putting your neck on the line, but do you think we do it this weekend, or do you think it rumbles on like Danny?
I've been a Leeds fan for 60 years, and at the end of the day, I've seen it all. From my point of view, at this moment in time, head rolling heart. I think we'll do it by Monday.
Come on.
I mean, the whole Leedsy thing, it'd be. I can't imagine, if we muck this up from here, that's more than Leedsy. I can't see. I mean, we shouldn't say it, I know, but it's got to be done by Monday, isn't it? If Sheffield United lose, we need 4 points. It's just, we're so close, aren't we? They can taste it. Like how? Because I mean, Mark, after Luton, you must have been the same as everyone else. You must have been like, oh, this is in my head. We were playoffs after Luton. I thought that's it. We weren't terrible yesterday. It wasn't a bad performance, but that draw, Sheffield United. If Sheffield United had gone and won, I thought, oh, I didn't even look at the Sheffield United result. I assumed they're going to win, and I thought we'd be playoffs. And I don't know if you felt the same.
Yeah, like all of us, I think, let's face it, we're a massive club, we're global. I don't think there's anybody in the world that thought after Luton that we were still nailed on. And then if you'd have said to me, put 100 quid on Sheffield United losing 3 on the bounce, and I said, what sort of drugs are you on?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Winning 5 in a row, and then,
I mean, it just wasn't going to happen because Sheffield United all season haven't been, we are the best team in the league, no doubt. But, Sheffield United, they just ground out results within 89 minutes, 92 minutes. And I'm thinking, they're just nailed on to go up, aren't they? They just, but then they've just the pressure's got to them all.
I've seen a lot of people say Sheffield United, they've been obviously fairly lucky. They've been playing average all season, but still getting results. Eventually, that had to run out. Did that bit of luck they've had? And obviously, it looks like it has. I mean, the pressure on them is massive for Friday. I don't think they beat. Sorry, I think they beat Cardiff. Sorry, but I tell you what, Cardiff have got everything to fight for. It's such a leveler at this time of season, isn't it, Mark? When you look at it and go, the quality is there, but you don't think they'll beat Cardiff?
But 1-1 draw that because
I hope so.
They're fighting for their lives, Cardiff, and will do anything. They've done it to us. They'll do anything to upset the party. We're 3-0 up one time with Cardiff, 3-0.
So, mate, if they drop points Friday, we're in dreamland.
I can see that draw as well. Exactly the same.
I just don't see them. I don't think they've got the bravery to win because they've forgotten how to win.
It's a mad one for them as well because I know that the first 2 losses back to back, he kept the same side, and I watched a bit of content on Sheffield United side that was saying he needs to change it. He mixed it up a little bit for that third game and they lost again. So Wilders, what does he do for this? To pull it back? I mean, he's got a team that have totally lost the plot. The manager's lost the plot. Anyone looking in from the outside, it just looks like a sinking ship. I mean, when your manager's out of control like that, Mark, that must feed into players.
I mean, look, get me wrong. We're all Leeds fans at the end of the day. We're not out to be catty. We just enjoy the banter. But, it's just so good to see Hamface losing it all. You know what I mean? It's just, it's just. Listen, Matt, can I ask a big favour?
Of course you can, mate.
Right. I've tried to hollow through to a lot of other guys on channels like this, but I think I actually sent a message to yourself, but you were just closing down at the time, so I don't think you even saw it in chat. I've had my Twitter account or X account hacked.
Right.
Now, if I'll give you the Twitter angle, it's at MKEddie1502.
Yep.
And it's been hacked, and it's also all my social media went with this guy, this person, this thing, this system, whatever. And it's caused me a real nightmare. That's why I got the grey hair, not because I'm 63. But, I'm asking and appealing to anybody to go onto Twitter.
Yeah.
If they follow me already, that's brilliant. I've got over 3,000 followers. I think I've got a good volume of people over 11 years.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, and all of it's Leeds community, which at the end of the day is like family to me at the end of the day. But I just want them to report that isn't me, because he's going on there with all sorts of financial inducements, like, I put £1,000 and made £10,000 overnight and all this. I'm not involved in that. I just don't get involved in that type of crap. I'm a Leeds fan. I've gone to Twitter on X, having rants and my fallouts and my toxic moments and all the rest of it, like the rest of us do. But I would ask if you've got anybody at all, if you can make an appeal for me to get anybody to just literally go on to MK. I've got a new account that I've got, which is at Bielsa MK. That's my new account, but I'm only using that because you can't appeal to Twitter or X to ask them to look at an identity thing unless you're actually on Twitter. You can't do it. I can't log in. I can't log into my MK.
Wow.
Controlled by AI robots, you can't get through to anybody at all. And it's
when I knock you off here, Matt, can you put them in the chat? And then now you've mentioned it, everyone can make a note of it. Is that all right? Yeah, you put me in chat, mate, and then I'll make a note of it as well. And I'll go do the same, mate, once I've come off here.
Yeah, it's just a frigging nightmare. It really is. But anyway, getting back to the most important stuff. That Daddy guy you just had on, he was saying that you don't think Rodon and Purdue.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, that's wild. That is wild.
Yeah, by the way, and the problem is, if he's right, we won't stay up. We'll be relegated because we can't replace 7 first-team players. So may as well not go up in the first place.
Well, this is why we need to get it right. We have got the the financial muscle this time round. And I think, this year particularly, we didn't spend a lot of brass. We brought in 135 million. We didn't spend an awful lot on it. So I think there's sufficient in the coffers. I don't think we're a canny club. I don't think we'll get to FFP problems or whatever they call it now. But I think we will buy 2, 3, 4 more centre halves, because at the end of the day, they know full well. I mean, Rodon is made of steel girders, for Christ's sake. I mean, the guy just, as Farkas said himself, he's Welsh. He'll recover all right and fine, But I think he has to have 2 or 3 players for each position, without a shadow of doubt.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%.
So I think Ampadu and Rodon are tailor-made for it. Tanaka's made for it. I think at the end of the day, Joseph goes out on loan and go play every Saturday, minimum 35 games for a club, for a championship, and learns how to get his talent through, because
absolutely
he's got it.
Yeah. I mean, Josie just needs to learn to play first team football, doesn't he? Being the main striker. You're absolutely right about positions and depth of squad. People think, it's less games, you don't need as much, but it's not about that. You need people to be on it all the time. So if someone's not on it, they've got to be dropped. So you need options in your squad to keep getting a decent team out every single game. So you've got to do there's going to be a lot of deals to be done throughout Europe. And I think also what we need, Mark, I don't know if you agree, is athletes. Like, Premier League is full of athletes now, more than anything else. Like, it's good footballers, don't go wrong, but athletes. If you go up, they're all the best. It didn't used to be like this, but all the best athletes play at the premium level now. They play Premier League, so that's what we've got to look at. We've got to buy the big, strong centre back that can run 100 meters in 12 seconds, whatever it may be. Same with DM, same with wingers, same with striker. They've got to be able to get around the pitch, and we can build something around that. Then we've got to identify athletes. I think obviously we need footballers. Don't be wrong; they've got to fall into that category as well. But what do you think about that?
There's 2 things I'd add to that. I think at the end of the day, you'll remember the American owners that are obviously dominating the Premier League now are ruthless. And I think in their head, they're giving, I think at this moment in time, assuming everything goes according to plan, we go up. And I think Farker, he gets 10 matches, tops.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think they'll have more say on the signings this year, which at the end of the day, Farker always said, I control the team. Whatever. At the end of the day, I think the board will say, these are the players we've identified. These are the ones we're getting in. We want you to agree with them because we believe they're right, and obviously, and then I think we've got. My main worry is you get that copious amount of players in. Farkas said 2 things to contradict me. He said he likes small squads, and I don't think he's pragmatic enough in the Premier League to utilise those. That rotation system. He's shown it. Christ, Messi and Ramazani is like it's flying out bloody head at the moment, isn't it?
But you can't give that winger 10 games of 1 assist and think he'll come good and just keep playing till they come good. You can't do it in the Premier League. You just can't. But you're absolutely right, Mark. The 49ers will have to be ruthless. Hopefully they are. I think you're probably right. They probably are. But also, I think that I've lost my train of thought completely there. Whatever you said, I agree with.
I just don't think Farker. You ask any of the club he's been to. And this is by far the biggest club he's ever worked for, the biggest job he's ever had.
Yeah.
And, from fan base and history and all the rest of it. At the end of the day, I just don't think he's pragmatic enough. They've all said he's so rigid. He doesn't do things. He doesn't change subjects until 70 minutes. How's he going to cope with a squad of 25, 28 players that he's got to rotate? And, no European manager persists with Peru like he has.
No.
And while Peru played really well on Saturday at the end of the day, I was there. I was like watching it all. I'm thinking, there's nobody better at striking a ball and tucking it into the corner of the onion bag than him. No. But I think now he's just lashing at stuff. He's not using his guile and his finesse that he's obviously got, but he's just lashing at stuff. He's snapping at it rather than just sort of being cool.
Yeah, it's weird, wasn't it? He put in a Bamford performance in that. But by the way, so what I was going to say on the 49 before I forgot was I think there'll be pressure on Maraf as well, because he's got all these investors that need to get their money back somehow. The only way to get their money back is through a successful Premier League club that can be sold in years to come. So he's got to get this right as well. There's more pressure on Maraf than anyone else, because he's got all these people behind him that put money into this that he needs to now back it up. So Fark is just a small part of that. And if it doesn't work, keep the manager, don't keep the manager. All well and good, but Fark is a tiny, less than 1% part of the grand scheme of things for all these investors who put millions and tens of millions into this club. That I say only get back one. They want us to be a Champions League or a European top 8 club, whatever it is, to get their money back. So they've got to get there. So and they want to get there as soon as possible.
Right, guys. Mark, final thought, mate. Because I'm going to kick you out because they're starting to queue up now.
Well, that's not very nice. Nice, lovely fellow like you.
I'm getting stressed, mate. I'm getting stressed, mate. Final thought, buddy. Leave us with something positive, like you have been, to be fair.
Yeah.
I can't be any more positive than that. I think we'll go up, and I think it'll be done and dusted Monday.
Nice.
And I think in 2 seasons we sign Rafinha back.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
I said positive. I didn't say dreamland.
We wanted to win the Champions League because we get another 10 million quid in the coffers.
Yeah, too.
By the way, I think if he will get Champions League, he'll get 10 million for that, and I think he'll also then win Ballon d'Or, and you'll probably get another 10 million. You might get 20 million for him winning Champions League, basically.
Yeah, that's
100%.
PMA, MOT.
Thanks a lot, Matt, for coming on, mate. Absolute legend. Mark. Thanks so much, buddy. Lovely guy.
Great
Take care, mate.
Love to your family, Matt.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Much appreciated. You too.
Cheers, all the best. Take care, guys. All the best.
See you later, my mate. Goodbye.
No love to my family. Wow.
What a guy. Look who it is. Richard Hogan. How you doing?
Hey.
Lads.
Hello, Richard.
Can I just say, Richard, before you speak, mate, you're Adam's favourite, by the way.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
Adam's favourite.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
You are, mate. Sorry, Danny. Yeah, he's always like.
Yeah, no, you had Rumsey on there earlier on, and oh god, I thought he was agitating Slurry there the way he was going on with the amount of action he was doing of our back four. But anyway, I don't agree on Rodon anyway. Not been good enough. I think actually probably I think the summer is actually going to be trickier than we think for a couple of reasons. Firstly, there's 2 players we need to get out, and that's Meslier and Bamford. The Bamford problem is that the wages go back up, and where does he go, or who can we find for him? So that's a problem. The other thing is that if Angus is going, there's talks in Nick Hammond going to Everton with him. So are the board and all of our recruitment team kind of walking out the door? Do we have someone ready? Does that put us behind the 8? But it's definitely something that we need to be aware of if we do go up.
Yeah.
And I've got something on Hammond, Richard, actually, and I can say so. Richard Hammond, I've been assured, is very much a consultancy role, and his role is overplayed a little bit. So I think, yeah. So, but they're saying that if Angus wants to take him, there's something in that.
Yeah.
What's the
I'm just
feedback,
interested
mate?
to see who they've lined up in regards to who's going to come in, because like we talked about when Rajani sold and everything else. This is huge for us. We need to hit the ground running in regards to the transfer market and try and get it in as early as possible. Now, Daniel, if he stays, will want to leave it as late as possible potentially, and that's fine. But all of that churn and change is going to take time for everyone to settle in. And Rafinha won't win the Champions League. And the reason for that is, and this is just something interesting, I was flicking through TikTok yesterday and Goldbridge brought it up, and he said that UEFA won't allow Arsenal or Barcelona to win the Champions League because they're not in the Club World Cup and they won't want to win it. So whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see. It's not over. We've seen how quickly it can turn.
Yeah.
Leeds have a notoriously bad record over Easter. It's not the first time Easter has gone badly for us. And the way I look at it is focus on Friday night, get the job done at Oxford, get the job done, and then move to Monday and see where we are. The only good thing about Monday is that at least we're playing 3 and they're on after us.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of, and it would be a real Sky thing to have them playing at 3 at 5 and us playing at 8 on Monday night, like on Easter Monday night. It'd be a real Sky thing to do. But thankfully that hasn't happened on Monday. I know it's happening on Friday. We'll deal with that. The other thing is that Cardiff have a 100% record at Bramall Lane this year. They won their third round of the FA Cup. 1-0. So,
well, they've not lost in 3 away games.
No.
Cardiff
Look, if they're scrapping for their lives, you see what Oxford did to Sheffield United a week ago. So it's not plain sailing going down there. You're going to have to be on it. Like I've said all season, first goal, huge. Get that first goal, we're in control then.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. It's about us being in front and having control of the game.
Yeah.
And dictating the game rather than us, because when we're under pressure, we're under 3 or 4 times more pressure than anyone else in games.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And the other thing is that we went through that rocky patch. Okay, you see what happened to Sheffield United last week? They not for 9. Like, at least at home to Swansea, we didn't lose the game, we drew it. We drew at Luton.
Yeah.
So, like, we did pick up points, and while we dropped 2, we were picking up 1, as opposed to them 0 from 9. So, you know, like, we haven't lost to Pompey, and before that it was it Blackburn? We've lost 4 all season, 1 at home, and 3 on the road.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
want to know, Richard, mate. And do you feel?
Yeah.
How do you feel the Melier coming out for Darlow's helped in terms
it's
of?
Been huge, hasn't it?
Do you think that's been one of the major factors in the turnaround? Yeah.
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 I think what it is I think Rodan looks around and he trusts him.
Agreed.
And I think actually that Welsh triangle, as it's been known now, I think I might have been the first one to put that out. This Welsh triangle at the back with the 3 of them is probably the best back, you know, as centre halves. Those are the 2 I trust. Just don't trust Pascal. I think he's too slow. He got like at that Preston game. I know we gave out about Melier not clanging out that ball away at Preston before Christmas. But like as Maich turned him so easily on the halfway line and got in behind him, and that's where it all started. And I think actually, if you look at the record, if you look at Mez's record, I think a lot of the mistakes and the errors have come when it's been Rodan and Strike at the back. He has played an awful lot better when Ampadu was at the back. Ampadu came back in, I think, after that game at Preston, and over Christmas we were very, very solid, kept a lot of clean sheets with Mez in. I think then it fell apart at Hull, but again, you know, I think it's just something about Ampadu there at the back that kind of gives a little bit more solidity, is much more assured. The Gruev thing as well allows Firpo to get forward, so he's able to tuck in. Nanto is a little bit the same on the other side in regards to, I'd say, he's not a natural out and out winger, which allows Bogle to probably get round. Hence why probably last Saturday I didn't see the game in full now, only saw the highlights, but a lot of the wide threat was coming from Bogle and Firpo in regards to getting forward. But you know, the wingers were inverting quite a bit. Pirro, I was saying I thought he might get 30 GNA this season, goal and assists.
Yeah,
he's probably tapered off that, but he was in line for that.
He was.
And I think everyone said it. His overall play's improved, but he just can't finish his dinner. So
another way,
which is really frustrating.
Yeah.
Pat Bamford has been good. There is probably 30 minutes in him in every game between now and the end of the season.
Yeah.
And he is that glorified shithouse that we need. Just with regards to holding it up.
Yeah.
Like for example, if we go 1-0 up, if we're 1-0 up on 60 minutes on Saturday and he comes on, or on Friday and he comes on, you know that he's going to hold it up. You know that he's going to win free kicks. You know that he's going to allow the team to take pressure off the team and move forward.
Yeah.
And I think Rothwell is in contention, and I don't know if Dan James is going to be in contention for Friday night. But the way I would look at it is that even if they are, they're bench options for me. And if you want to give either of them 30 minutes at the end, that's fine. If you want to start them, if they're ready for Stoke, then you want to start them, that's fine as well. I wouldn't necessarily make any changes for Friday night.
No, agreed.
Yeah, fair.
What do you think of
go on, sorry.
Richard, sorry. What do you think of Pirro as a Premier League striker? Where does he fit? Is it possible? Is it plausible? Can he play up front by himself in the Premier League?
He could. Is there that level of improvement in him? You know, like the way I look at it, and I think everyone has said it, like we need probably another rebuild in regards to through that spine. We need a top class goalkeeper, whoever that's going to be. We probably need a left-footed centre half to accompany Rodan. We probably need more depth in midfield. We need more ball play midfielders. Probably need 2 8s or maybe another 8 and a 6. I don't know. And we need a 10 and 9 and a 10. We need a creative 9 and we need a 10. We don't like. I think we're all agreed on here that we don't trust Brendan Aronson in regards to the Premier League. We just probably don't feel that he's good enough. Nanto has probably shown that he can do a job at that level. Ramazani is going to be interesting because the tweet is kind of. I'm sorry, I was just listening. I think Ger was on with Joe, and Ger is someone that, you know, when I listen to, I respect what he says in regards to his opinion, because I think he, he's Irish, obviously, like myself, so he always tells the truth.
Class.
But no, I would say that there's probably. Is it a case that can Ramazani hang on longer than Farke when it comes to next season?
Yeah,
because
I
we know
agree.
Farke's going to be on the short leash. Ramazani has proved that he's played in the league. He's good enough. So he's good enough to play at Premier League level. Is Premier League actually going to suit him better? And is it a case that could someone come in after 10 games and actually utilise him more and he become, a key part of the team? Is he potentially our former Rafinha waiting in the long grass takes, to come out and shine?
I think so.
That's something. But recruitment in those 9 and 10 areas is going to be interesting. We need to bring in quality, and where do you find it? Like we found Tanaka from Bundesliga 2. There's definitely guys probably within Bundesliga which Farke, I suppose, will have studied and will be familiar with. I would expect that's a market that we will be shopping in. There's a lot of Americans in that, so I would imagine for the people that 49ers will be dealing will be quite familiar with that as well. So it's just about bringing in the right quality. As to any names, just on Ferguson, I would probably say no. Ooh. He's probably gone cold in regards to as a striker. He struggled for goals. He struggled for fitness.
Yeah,
and I think he scored in the last. I think he scored in the last international window, didn't he? But I think that might have been his first goal in a long while.
Doesn't get lucky at West Ham.
No, and he was a Potter favourite at Brighton.
Yeah,
it wasn't a case that
Potter true. Yeah.
He got that West Ham move because of Graham Potter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if it all went bollocks for Farke in the first 10 games next season and Jose was available, would you go for him?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. How can you not? I'd get rid of Farke a week after we go up. Personally, I just think.
I know you think like that, Adam.
I think it's such a limiting factor in
you're not far
business.
behind in thinking like that, Danny, or Matty either. I'd say.
I think it's just such a limiting factor in transfer business.
I think he lives on this channel.
Love that.
Ultimately, so much needs to be done in the transfer window. Like, however we go about it, like it's massive. And when you start getting into it, when you started explaining them, Richard, like it's almost too much. Like, I don't know how you put all that together, where you find those players, and like when I say it's too much, it feels like everything's got to be spot on for us to stay up. And that's a lot to ask. And that's for me with Farke as a manager. You need a bit of a Hail Mary in terms of, I'm not saying Jose Mourinho necessarily, that's a massive ask, but whoever the manager is. But you get the manager obviously guides everything. So trying to get that right manager in is.
Yeah, I think the only thing why there's a lot of talk about Mourinho is that Mourinho has had his issues. He's having issues in Turkey at the moment. Like we've seen that he's obviously had issues with the FA and all that. He's kind of had his own Wilder moment, for want of a better word. I think, and there's an expectancy that he probably will want out. And he is a Premier League manager. He's comfortable in England. He knows the league, and he's kind of a fit for a club of our size with a manager of that stature who potentially would get it. Now, the other thing is, I know Danny mentioned Tammy Abraham as well. Mourinho is Chelsea to the core, and Chelsea and Leeds over the history have never seen eye to eye. And that, in regards to Abraham would be a good move, but that Chelsea history could potentially backfire on him if his form was like that of Joseph this season. People wouldn't be shy about getting on his back and reminding him of where he came from.
Yeah, maybe. We had Dennis Wise as a manager, don't forget one.
But he would definitely be a striker that he would need to hit the ground running.
Yeah, of course.
For it to work for him. Kind of way. And if he didn't, it could very much go like Joseph very, very quickly. So that's just me being pragmatic about it. The reality is that next season is huge. And if we stay up by the smallest fingernail or the skin of our very bare skin of our teeth, if we could stay up by half a point, or even on goal difference, with goal difference at half a point.
I think the word you said, I was talking about something different in context, but the word you said is pragmatic, and that's exactly the word I think we will have to, and the style we will have to take in the Premier League of football. I know people say Farker's football's boring, but it's not really boring in a pragmatic way. So it is quite safe. I don't know what that. There's some feedback, isn't there, Matty? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, we'll have to see if it changes once Richard goes off. But I think it's you. But I don't know.
No, it won't be me. I've got a great tech. No,
so you're blaming me, Matty, for the feedback.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, we'll find out now anyway, mate. Because we'll end on Jamie saying I like this chap. We know
I like him too.
I like him too, and I know Adam does. But yeah, I've got a few more to get through as well, Richard. But thank you so much for coming on. Always decent.
Cheers, Richard. Lovely chatting to you, mate.
Take care. Here's a big weekend coming, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah. March now together.
Bye, mate. Take care.
Bye, mate.
Honestly,
can I speak now? Can I speak now?
Yeah,
it was Richard.
It only happened when you spoke, though. But yeah, it must have been through Richard. But
Richard is my tone.
Bringing on my good friend. Boss Nass. Are you there? Can you hear me?
All right, chap. Can you hear me?
Hiya, mate. I can hear you.
Hello.
Hey up, handsome. How are you doing?
How we doing? All right.
Yeah, man. Absolutely brilliant.
Hello, mate.
Absolutely brilliant. Adam, me, Boss Nass, me, Adam.
Hello.
Absolutely loves your work. You're a big late night Leeds fan. Be back on Thursday night, won't we? This week, doing Thursday this week.
Thursday night, I guess so, yeah. I'll just turn up when I'm told.
You when you're told, mate, yeah. Go on then, Boss. That's fired away, mate. How are you feeling? I want to know, do you think we go up this weekend? Do you think it rolls on? Where's your head at?
You're muted.
You're muted, mate.
If we don't, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
yes.
Man. Right, sound, because I've got one of these expensive chuffing microphones, isn't it? Right? If we don't go up this weekend, it's totally Leeds, isn't it? But I do expect us to go up this weekend. Adam, I'm one of your biggest fans, bro. The first time that you was on as just a call-in, I was like, in the chat, I was like, this dude knows his stuff, man. So, yeah.
So I snapped him up, mate. I snapped him up.
Thank you, mate. That's very kind of you.
I got him in. I snapped him up.
Yeah, that's it. I just remember Matty saying in the chat, message me after the show, bro. And I was like, yeah, he knows.
Yeah, I do, mate.
He's put me to work since then. All I do is most of my week spent doing shit with Massey. Yeah. Wonderful life, I lead.
I forget you've actually got a business to run when I'm phoning him, just telling me weird and wonderful ideas, Boss Nass.
Runs itself.
Yeah, it does, mate. It does. What do you think? What you think in terms of on Friday, then, mate? Do you think? I think we get promoted on Monday, mate. I think we win our next two games as a definite. Obviously, that can change. But looking at Sheffield United, Boss Nass, obviously 3 losses in 3. Do you think they can turn it round and put the pressure on us, or do you think they're gone now at this point?
I think they'll win next game.
I think they do, yeah.
Because only because of this, I think they're now drawing a line under top 2 and going, we need to prepare for the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Form.
So it's one of those where it's like, I think Wilder will have them in the mindset of, look, if there's a almighty collapse and somehow this leads to us being in top 2, then fine. But at the bare minimum, we need to build some momentum for the playoffs, because guess what? Sunderland, I think, are going to... Well, listen, if I have a prediction for me, Sunderland are in the final for me, I think.
A lot of people saying that, mate. A lot of people fancy Sunderland in playoffs.
So, look, I just think... Do you know what it is? I don't think Sheffield United go up. I'll be real with you. I don't think they go up. And the thing is, Benjamin Bloom would say it differently. Benjamin Bloom would say statistically,
yeah.
The team that finishes 3rd statistically would go up. I don't see it myself. I don't. You know what I've said, Boss Nass? I've said, right, when you look at that top 3, if one of us misses out due to lack of form, right, and I know they've got 4 games to rectify that, they could win next 4 and be flying for playoffs. But I think it's such a mental lapse on their part to try and get back up for the massive games that are coming, in 4 or 5 weeks' time. I think it's so difficult, whereas normally you have someone in and around playoffs, or someone who just comes in late on who's flying in form. I've always said,
if it's Leeds or Sheffield United that finish third, I don't think we'd go up through playoffs. I think Burnley could. I think they'll nick. They can nick games 1-0. I think Burnley would be fine for playoffs. I don't think Sheffield United go up. I think you're bang on with that, in my opinion.
Well, what I would say is, I think this plays into their favour. They could lose every game from this week until the beginning of the playoffs, right? And they're still in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, still with that, yeah.
So what the thing is for me is that they've got so much time with no pressure to get their heads around it. It's not like it's different to losing out on automatics on the final week.
Yeah,
it's very different to that.
Yeah,
mentally,
absolutely.
It's very different to that because they've got so much time to get their heads around it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you lose on the second to last week or the last week, you've got no real time to kind of rectify that damage mentally. What's happened? I think Sheffield United gets their final, but I think they lose the final. That would be my prediction.
To go back to where you started, that's actually a great point. That so at the moment, lost 3 games in a row, but they're a better football team. So it's all mentality, it's all mindset. And what I'll do before this game, go pressure off, lads. We're looking at playoffs now. Just go out, enjoy it. You can just see, and that's a great point that you can just turn it all around. And they might go out and have a really free spirited performance and Gus Hamer and all that, and they win 3-0. You're absolutely right. And then the pressure's back. Pressure's back on them then. But actually, on this Friday, you're right. Actually, they could take it all off. I haven't even thought of that. That's a great point.
Yeah, they could absolutely go out there and slap someone up.
Yes,
could be like Callum O'Hare. Just take yourself off. Just go express yourself. Gus Hamer taking shots from 18, 20 yards out. It could be like an absolute whoever. I don't know who they've got, but because I'm not that interested. But they got
Cardiff at home, which are third bottom, but they're fine for third bottom, fine for their lives. But you're absolutely like Gus Hamer. Just go and enjoy it, mate. Just prove you're a better footballer. You don't have to worry about anything. We're playoffs now. Got games. Just go and play yourself in the form. Don't worry about anything. Just go and enjoy the game of football. And they wouldn't surprise me. You're absolutely right. They go win 3-4-0 now. They've talked me around completely.
Yeah, I can see that happening, man.
Definitely. Yeah. But then it's on Wilder about mentality and mindset and psychology. Is he a good enough manager to get that over to them? Get that message into them. I don't know. He's losing his head. He's losing his head himself. So
I think the players are better than the managers in this league. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't think he's a good manager in this league.
Ooh, controversial. That leads me on to my next question, Boss Nass. Daniel Farker. How are you feeling about him at the minute, pal? I've lost my head recently.
I think he's made an hard job out of an easy task.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, listen. You give that squad to anybody even resembling competent. I think it's automatic. So I don't get. Look,
he's going to get automatic. So he's going to get before people challenge him.
No, he is, and fair play. But I think you could pick someone out of Bundesliga 2 with that squad and get them promoted. I'll be honest with you.
I think there's a point in that. I think like the Ramazani stuff, a lot of people, good man management stuff. He's not got a fucking bean out of Ramazani. No performance out of Ramazani since Watford, since he got injured. And that is Ramazani was going for a stage there. He was one of the best players in the league, and he's not managed to get anything out of him. And that goes for a few players.
Joe, Blackburn, by the way, fella. Sorry, Adam.
No, go
on. On the club points record, by the way. Yeah, nice one. Also, but apparently a bad manager. Didn't say that though, did I? So listen. You can be on your twisting narratives thing, which you and your mates do. It don't work with me, fella. So you can stick that one straight up your jacksy, fella. All right, that don't work with me. I don't do a Leeds channel, and I don't care at this point. So if you want to do that twisting narrative stuff, bro, that ain't gonna work with me. I'll tell you that for nothing.
I'm covered in my face, Boss Nass. I don't know where I look.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, man. I can't be arsed with it. You can twist the narrative as much as you want, pal. I didn't say he was a bad manager.
Nah, you didn't say he was a bad manager. You didn't, mate. You didn't.
So there you go.
But I think you're the same as me, though, that if you go up, you're not keeping him, are you?
No, well, listen, I think you've got to give him a chance.
Oh, no, fuck that. No.
I think you've got to give him 10 days. I think you've got to give him 10 games. Because,
yeah, but it's 10. The thing is, so it's, do you know what? So if you're a boss, you go and speak to him, don't you? And you sit down and you go, okay, what's your plan? Who are we buying? Like, how's it all fit to scouts? And you're right. So if you sit down in that meeting and you're planning for next season, and he says exactly what you want to hear, and he's got a great plan, it all makes sense. That's fine. I just don't think if I sat down Fark or anyone, I don't think he can have that plan for me. And you can't give a manager 10 games if he's not going to. because the problem with Farke is, say, he'll limit who we buy in the summer. He'll decide who we buy, and you're suddenly buying Farke players, and you might be buying Solomon for 25 million. Right, where you could have got a European winger who's just as decent for 15, and that's I'm just throwing stuff out there. I appreciate that, but that's how I see it. I think he's such a limiting factor in transfers. It's not about the games; it's about as soon as you start getting into it. And we're saying again, the problem we got is there's not a lot of football people above him, so I'm not quite sure how that all comes together as a decision. Like Peter McCormick, but I don't know where he really fits into this. He's a new, chief executive, what the hell he is. But the fact they kept Angus Kinnear on is mental. Yeah,
I think that's mental. I think what you're alluding to there, Adam, is absolutely 100% true. It's not really the first 10 games, in my opinion, because although it will make a major impact into the season, it's a quarter of the season or over a quarter of the season in the Premier League. But it's the budget. Do you give him the budget? And that's the major point there, because he's going to build a team and bring players in that suits his style of play. Now, that's an issue for Parag Maraf, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Based on this year's performance. But again, Joe Blackburn, let's go into this. As you did, would massively imply it by saying you could pick someone out at random from Bundesliga 2. Didn't we get a player from Bundesliga 2 this year that overperformed, Joe? I mean, I'm not sure if we did, but I think we did.
Bundesliga 2.
I think it was called Tanaka, something like that.
Yeah, well, Tanaka.
So there is decent talent in Bundesliga 2, players and managers, I do believe. So yeah, totally different capitals. Not childish at all, mate, for someone who's got a Leeds United channel, but cool. But yeah, Adam, like you said, mate, I think it is massive on do we go in for this season with Parag? Not Parag, with Farke. It's the budget, isn't it?
It's the budget. By the way, I think he's got a good eye for talent as well. I think he has, and but he is a limiting factor, because people think usually it goes through the process. You manage to get involved early. It's back end when they turn down players. But I think he gets involved in front end, and you're limiting that pool to so small. And that's why we were so late in windows, because we struggle to get the Farke players through the door. I think you need to be a bit. I mean, I say I don't know about the whole hierarchy and the scouting. Adam Underwood's the football something or other. He's not senior enough for me to be in the Premier League. So so you're giving Farke too much control for me. But I don't know if there's even enough around him to even get it sorted, whether you keep him or not, and how those conversations go. Yeah. Maraf sits down with Farke and talks about football. What the fuck? He ain't got a clue. He doesn't know, and he hasn't got the right. And I say the fact that if Angus stay, they haven't got the right football people around him to make those decisions at the moment. I don't think so. They've got to do a lot of work.
For me, mate, it's such a massive thing, because it's like with Leeds doing what they did in not only the season when they actually got relegated, but the season when they went down, and they didn't panic financially, so they're actually in a decent place when it comes to FFP. So you've now got a manager in Daniel Farke who, look, for me, with that squad, with that wage budget, coming into even a fortnight ago, this promotion being still under question, when really you should have dropped Melier probably 12 weeks ago and had it done by now.
Yeah.
Surely those questions come around a boardroom where you go, right, okay, look, this guy's done the job. It was a 2-year plan. Yes, he has achieved what we set out for him in that 2-year plan. But has he showed enough for us to trust him with £100 million plus in this summer? Me, as a chairman of a football club, do I trust this man with £100 million of this community and this club's money to do enough to stay in this league when he lost against a Southampton manager who has been appalling in the Premier League? We lost against that team. It's easy to forget that, but at Wembley, we looked devoid of any ideas. Against the Southampton team that has been absolutely destroyed all year. So
I think for Farke as well, you sit down and go, right, okay, so what's the plan for the Premier League? What football are you going to play? What style we can play? If you're just going to carry on trying to play, through fullbacks, etc., it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You've got to be a bit more pragmatic. You've got to be a bit braver, not braver, a bit pragmatic, go longer occasionally. But you've got to buy players for that. We've spent 2 years in the Championship trying not to buy anyone over 6 foot, seemingly. It's nuts. And so we get bullied in some games as a result of that. So in the Premier League, players, Van Dijk, the players are stronger in the Premier League. They're bigger, stronger. So we've got to buy for that, and you got to buy purpose for that. So and I say I think Farke can become part of that, but he's got to become part of the bigger picture and give away some control in it. And is he willing to do that? Probably not.
Is he stubborn? This is another question that I have in my mind. Is Daniel Farke stubborn? Does he have an ego? Please, this is a discussion point, because there is things which are as clear as water is wet that has happened in this season, where it's obvious to any. Well, look, we're not football managers. We're not paid to be football managers, but we are spectators, and we do pay our money to have opinions, and that's okay. There are some things that have happened this season which you look at and you go, all right, fine, we can talk around it, we can dance around it. Bro, that was obvious, man. That was so obvious. Like, that needed to happen. The Melier thing, like the over stubbornness with not being able to react with squad rotation, people with tired legs, we've seen it. Aronson with tired legs is not the same Aronson that is fresh. We've got options there. Nonto can't play a 10. Well, look, fine, all right, find a solution. Aronson's knackered. Look, it's one of those things, and we've had these conversations year and year, and well, not year and year, but like all season. Look, I was going to point this out, when Joe says that, and I think that's a fair point. If you do a job within a time frame, and look, I'm not just coming for Joe there. Like, I think he's made a couple of stupid comments tonight, but he'd probably argue the other way. But like he says, if you do a job within a certain time frame, then if you sack someone for that, then it's going to be impossible to attract a different candidate.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not true. It's not true.
I agree.
In a normal working scenario, that is true, but this is football.
100%.
And you get paid millions of pounds to have one of only 20 jobs in the best league in the world.
Yeah.
I know it's a fact of what you're saying, but it will play into someone's psyche. They will have that thought. I'm not saying it'll rule them out of a job, but it's something you're going to be thinking. Like I said about bringing in quality players from maybe Europe, they might be looking at the Ramazani situation, might be looking at people out thinking, am I actually going to get minutes? Will it stop them coming? Probably not. But it's something that looks like, for me, that will bother certain people.
It won't, because I'll tell you why it won't, because you're approaching that manager saying we've got rid of him because we want you. Like, it's a completely different thing. It's not the real world. There's no contract law in football. It's mental. Like it's outside the realms of every sort of other business. It's nuts. And I think if you like do you mean Jose Mourinho? Now, just stop talking about it. We're not getting Jose Mourinho. We'll give a shit that we sacked Daniel Farke. Oh no, Daniel Farke can't do it. I'm Jose Mourinho. Because we wanted you. That's why we got rid of him, because we want you. And by the way, that conversation all happens whilst Farke's still in the job. Every conversation happens with every manager while Farke's still there. They go and talk to other managers. They'll be talking to other managers now, like they should be. Yes. So same with exactly the same as players, by the way. Exactly the same as players. What should we kick every player because they got us up? Like, it's just
Adam, how many times have we seen it? A player joins a club and goes, "Oh yeah, I'm really intrigued and motivated by the project that's been placed in front of me." Premier League team comes in 12 months later. Yeah. This is one of the biggest clubs in the world. This was a no-brainer. Well, what happened to the motivated project that he was part of 12 months ago?
Yeah, mate, it's egos as well. It's egos. You get a right manager. Nearly every single player manager will have massive egos. Won't give a shit what's happened before. They'll go, "Oh, I'll make it work." And if I don't make it work, by the way, I leave in a year's time and get a £10 million payoff. Like, who cares? They wouldn't give a shit. It would attract whoever you want in the Premier League. And I've said it several times now. There'll be 50 plus, and I don't know why I've 50. It could be any number. Better managers available to Leeds United in the Premier League than Daniel Farke. It just will.
Right, lads.
Am I going to now?
No, that 5 to 7 minute rule went way off. Right, boss Nats. Thank you very much for coming on,
before get me off before I really start annoying some folks. Like, do you know what I mean? Because,
boss Nats, thank you for coming on, my friend.
Yeah, all right. Sorry, Joe.
We'll speak soon.
Cheers, mate. Good chat.
Easy, my mate. See you soon. Bye, pal.
I love that.
Legend. Right, Mr. Sean Healey has been waiting patiently for about 4 weeks.
Yeah. There's loads of boss Nats there.
Hi, mate.
He's trying of my job.
Yeah.
He's set the stage for you, pal. He's set the stage for you. How are you doing, mate? Are you well?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you?
I'm really good, mate. Really good. Excited for weekend. Excited for the biggest weekend of the season so far, Sean.
Yeah, I said that on the Leeds Bros channel a little while ago. I think go up by Easter. I think we go up by Easter weekend. That Easter weekend.
Yeah, I think we're up Monday, mate. I think we're up on Monday.
Yeah. I think I said it after the Sheffield United match. I think he'll be up by Easter.
What sort of results?
Mate, I'll be 2 minutes. Sorry, mate. Sean, enough to you. Back in a sec. Sorry.
What sort of results are you expecting this weekend? Are you expecting Sheffield United to drop any more points this weekend?
I think they might. I think they might draw against Cardiff, and I think but I think they still get beaten by Burnley.
That's the big one, isn't it? That
would do that to send us up.
Yeah, because I assume you're expecting us to win Friday and Monday.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's not obvious, mate. It's not obvious.
The only match I thought all season we could lose was against Borough. And look what happened there. It was same
when we played them at home as well, though. I remember Borough for some reason this season. Every time we played Borough, both times, it's been like a worry. I think you said it as well for home game. You worried about that game, but we come through against teams that play like that, don't we? We always seem to create those chances.
We've turned around the last week.
What do you bring that down to, mate? Do you think, like we said to Richard, is it the Darlow change? Do you feel like Bamford's giving a better option off bench? What are you thinking in terms of that team at the minute?
I think it's the Darlow change. Sorry, Joe.
Do you reckon that's the main? Do you reckon that's the main point as well, mate? With it being the last line of defence, do you reckon that's just caused like a ripple effect through the side in terms of confidence and your keeper spreads through, Sean?
I don't think it's only the Welsh triangle that have said that have feel more confident. I think you feel. I think the whole defence feels more confident that they can actually feel like there's time. Like Frackie gave out about Tanaka, putting the ball out of play, and for the corner that time against what's it again? They put the ball out for a corner.
Swansea.
Yeah. And the thing is, the reason why he probably didn't pass the ball back to Meslier was because he doesn't trust him.
Yeah, no, I know. I feel like these last few games, some of our key players, well, up until these last few games, some of our key players hadn't been performing. Tanaka had a spell, James had a spell, Sullivan had a spell. All of a sudden, they all look on it again, don't they? I know James were out at the weekend. I assume he's going to be out this weekend or two. But I think when we had that bit of a lull, I thought Solomon were off it. I thought James were off it. I thought Tanaka were off it. All our main players, I think, going forward this season were all a little bit off it for 5 or 6 weeks. And it's coinciding now as that form with Tanaka playing well the last couple of games, Solomon playing well. All of a sudden, as Star Boys are providing those goals and assists and playing well, all of a sudden we're winning games again, you know.
I think the team feel a lot more confident now that they've got a keeper they can trust in.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, Darlow, we've all said all season, haven't we, Sean? In terms of get Mez out, he doesn't spread confidence throughout the side. He does the basics really poorly. We didn't need Darlow to come in and be a world beater. But what I will say is, made a couple of really good saves. Yeah, that's what it is. It's coming out, collecting the ball. People going about his distribution. I don't need him to be a fancy footballer. I need him to catch the ball and give it to his defence to progress the ball. Yeah, we don't need him to do all fancy, pal. He just needs to be solid.
The keepers are there to keep the ball out of the net. That's it.
Do you know what though? It's a couple of catches versus whoever we played last. Can't remember now. Class, like really good under pressure. Melly will be underneath, slapping at it and just clawing it 4 yards from goal and moaning at the referee. Oxford on Friday, there'll be long throws, kicking in, and Darlow makes a big difference because suddenly you've got confidence that he can just come through a crowd and catch the ball. It makes a massive difference because that's our probably biggest frailty.
Yeah.
Is those moments, and Darlow's been really good for that. Really, he's made a big difference.
Yeah, and also I think we don't know obviously, but the whole thing of maybe even commanding the area and saying my ball, it's my ball, instead of just coming in and just taking the ball. Maybe
he's a lot more vocal, Sean. He's a lot more vocal. I see him at the ground. A lot more vocal.
Yes, you haven't been at the ground, obviously.
If you're a defender, right, and the ball, you think you might be able to head, you're not sure. Keeper shouts mine, keepers, and you know he's going to catch it. It's massive. If you think he's going to slap it 4 yards from goal and moan the referee, you think I'm still going to try and head that. Because I don't know what the hell he's going to do. So it just creates so much confusion. And Darlow's actually really. I mean, he's saying like 150 more catches. He's played a lot less minutes than Melier, taking 150 catches or more in his career, whatever it is. I made those numbers up, but he does make a big difference. He's and say just. But why did Farke not do that halfway through the season? Why has he got no trust in him?
Because I don't know why. Because you can see, a lot of fans are complaining that over that one game against Salford.
Yeah.
But look at the players he was playing with though. You don't know how a player's going to perform unless they're playing with the main first team.
First team, I agree.
You know what I mean? He's playing with Vogel at the back and Creswell at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but that wasn't necessarily about not trusting Darlow, because in January we could have bought. Farke was no doubt offered a goalkeeper. The 49ers need to go. So and Farke turned it down. So it wasn't about Darlow. It wasn't about Darlow Melier. It was about Melier, or it was about Melier against every goalkeeper. He wanted Melier. It was important to have Melier, and he just even Farke eventually saw enough's enough, and it was so obvious to everyone else.
And also, people saying that we needed a striker, and da. He was offered Armstrong as well.
Yep.
He was offered Armstrong as well. He said no. So it's not the fact. It's not the fact.
Yep. For Armstrong was available. We wanted who's Archer, but that was a deal with you had to buy in the summer. That was never going to work. But then last out of the window, they said, "Oh, actually, Armstrong's available," and we went, "No, thank you." Or Farke went, "No, thank you," and that made no sense either. Just take him. Just take him. He's a goal scorer. He's a great finisher.
I think the people that are saying that are blaming Farke for not getting the strikers, it's not getting the right players in, are people that just want the 49ers out. They just want to back Farke.
Yeah. By the way,
on all grounds, and blame everybody else. Just like Farke has a great issue of blaming others instead of blaming himself for mistakes. I've never seen him once say, "Yeah, that was my fault." Instead of saying, "Right, that was," he keeps saying, "Oh, it was Tanaka's fault." It wasn't Tanaka's fault that he kicked the ball out. It was Mesley's fault because he doesn't fucking trust him.
Yeah,
and he keeps playing him. So that was so in the end, it was Farke's fault.
I think a lot of channels, a lot of people, everyone's writing their opinion, but a lot of people say, because we're top at league, because we're playing well, or whatever narrative through season, it means Daniel Farke is brilliant and it's all sunshines and rainbows. On this channel, I'm someone who believes that it comes with criticism, but I'll also criticise players when need be. But ultimately, he will take us up. We are top of the league. But I would say this last couple of months, he has shown some areas to his armour that I think it's not going to suit as well going up. I do think he's not as good as what I thought he was, Daniel Farke. I do think he does some crazy stuff, some questionable stuff at times. And not many people like to really talk about it, but ultimately he will fulfill the job he got given, which was a 2-year plan to get us promoted, and I do believe he does that. But personally, I aren't in love with Farke now as I was several weeks ago. And I know people like you, Sean, you've had your doubts a lot.
I've been saying it for the last year and a half.
I know you have. You've said it for a long time, mate.
The amount of shit that I had to put up with.
Thing is though, mate, it's hard, Sean, because when you're saying it and we're on an 18-game unbeaten run, or last season we're on a 15-game unbeaten run, it's same as easy in my chat. You're stuck to your guns, and ultimately at some point, Joe Wayman said at the time, at some point you are going to be right. I will say now, I've seen a lot of the stuff you've been saying for the last 18 months, which I think at times, just leave it, we're in a good run. When we were in the bad run now, I could see it, and I felt right to criticise. But when we're on a good run, I'm one of them. It sort of just bypasses you because you're winning, you're doing well. But these last month or so, it's come to my mind as well. A lot of the stuff you've been saying,
nearly them wins. It's gonna sound wild, one of my wild things, but I think the wins nearly papered over the cracks in a way. It nearly papered over the cracks.
You think?
We've seen some good players last year, you know what I mean? And I still didn't like the way he treated Cresswell last season.
Look at that. Welcome to the Far Cow Show.
By the way, so I think we should say this. And actually, what we are saying is really important. Sorry, the police car outside. This is exciting. What we're saying, and it's really important, is we are saying, so we're pointing out Farke's failings, right? We're saying negative. But what you can say on the flip side, of course, and I've said it before, every decision, good and bad, at Farke, everything's got Farke all over this, and he is going to get us promoted, right? So he deserves a lot of praise for that. We're looking at the bad side. But I say there's enough negatives in this for me to know that he's not going to work in the Premier League, and that is it. And I've seen it, and and by the way, there's a real bravery actually about. I don't go too far on this, but Sean, Easy, etc. You win games of football, so you go, yeah, great, everything. But actually, when you see your failings in the manager and stick with it, even when everyone else is saying because we've won a game of football, it's all fine. It's all coming into light a little bit actually for all of us, I think. And you can pick out bits over the last 2 years with Farke doing this, Farke doing that. You look at it, by the way. So I say, Farke deserves praise. That's important. But ultimately, you look at the detail, right? You listen to Mark Jackson talk about Bielsa's detail in taking a throw-in. Every restart, the detail Bielsa, they train throw-ins, right? Farke can't train a corner. He's not been able to train a corner in 2 years at all. We don't go short. We don't try anything. There's no variation. It's lump in the box and hope that people that tackle the ball suddenly can do it, and they can't. So how have we not, over 2 years, he's not worked on any of that? He's detail in management. He hasn't got the eye for detail, I don't think, to be a Premier League manager.
Yeah. You need to be a bit more technically...
Fucking.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Nah,
yeah, I know, mate. Like you say, he's not above criticism, but ultimately he'll get us up, which is the ultimate, in it. That's what we need to do, and he will get us that.
The only time in the year and a half that was kind of fucking was I got a bit giddy after
you did, yeah.
I got a bit giddy after beating Sheffield. I got a bit giddy.
Yeah, you did actually, mate.
I probably should have stuck to me. I should have stuck to it.
Nah, you're right, mate. You're right.
I got a bit giddy for them few weeks, and then I kind of went back to basics again, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right, mate. Sean, we're going to let you go because Mr. Joe Blackburn has been waiting in the wings, and I want to see what he's got to say. See what Joe Blackburn's been. Yeah, thank you so much, Sean. You're a legend. Bye. Take care, mate. Thank you. All right, let's bring in Mr. Blackburn himself.
Oh no!
Oh no! Here he goes.
The pot stirrer.
You causing problems, you.
Adam, I got a question.
Dear. Yes.
I got a question for you.
Go on.
So Daniel Farke doesn't train corners, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you compared that with how Bielsa reportedly trained throw-ins. You know who else didn't train corners? Because he thought that it invoked a significant amount of randomness.
No. So Bielsa would train corners, right? So he'd defend corners as well. So Bielsa was always a man of stuck to his guns, right? So you say about didn't train. So defensively corners, for example, Bielsa stuck for man marking. It was the worst thing. Like everyone was going zonal with like one marker or blocker. Bielsa stuck to. So you're of course right in terms of Bielsa did train stuff for defensively, and of course Farke trains defensively. But you're right, corners attacking wise. But I have used that to beat Farke with that stick, and I want to continue.
Also, I thought Daniel Farke was too stubborn and didn't have a plan B. Is there someone else that may have done a similar thing or was quite famed for saying that plan B is do plan A better or something?
Yeah, and that will be fine. One Farke gets us 9th in the Premier League. I would 100% agree with you and go, that's wonderful. Well done, Daniel. But he should not get the opportunity. And he probably, and of course he will not get to 9th either. Because that, by the way, so Farke and Bielsa, no manager in the world will get us 9th next year. That's important as well.
Joe, can I ask you a question, mate? Have you, because obviously you know on this channel, mate, it's hard because it feels like it gets negative sometimes. Like right now, mate, I'm buzzing on Daniel Farke. I'll make him tea if he wants to come. I took him in bed with our last night. Couldn't care less. He's going to get us promoted. I'm happy, right? But do you feel, like when I've had my little wobble of negativity in this last month or so, Have you had any negative thoughts towards him beyond this year, seeing out this year? Or are you always of the train of thought he's going to reach that goal, win in the top 2? What's the problem? Or have you seen some parts?
After it might have been Swansea or Luton, I can't remember which way around those matches were. But after one of them, I basically said to myself and a stream, okay, so the fate of Daniel Farke comes down to what happens in the next, at this point, I think it was either 5 or 6 matches. It comes down to, do we go up automatically or do we not? Because even if it was through the playoffs, it'd be a case of probably go with someone else. Yeah. But if he manages it automatically, fantastic. He's done the job that we've asked him. And that would have meant to, in that specific case, having outperformed a team that has conceded the least goals of any championship side ever, and I feel like that will be a ridiculously hard record to break, or Chris Wilder's side, who did exactly the same thing that everyone was begging that we do in winter, which is just buy everyone that you can possibly see.
Yeah.
And if we beat those, then it's sort of a vindication of that theory going forwards. Also, sorry, my camera's a bit crap. My wife is currently in the Lake District on a hen do and has stolen the camera for 3 days. So...
looks all right, mate. You just look a little bit more Twilighty than normal.
I'll take it.
So, Joe, how much faith do you have in Farke as a Premier League manager? And I know it's hard to say, I know percentage or anything else. How do you feel about him as a Premier League manager? Are you going blindly that, he just deserves a chance, which is fine? Or are you thinking, actually, I've seen enough to know he'll work in the Premier League?
I'm going along the lines of survival in the Premier League comes down less to the manager and more to the recruitment team. Because no matter what, if you're going into the Premier League with a squad that gets you promoted out of the Championship, even pissing Guardiola wouldn't be able to keep you up. But if you make the right additions, brilliant, you might manage it. So for me, it's a case of not only is it sort of earned by being able to sort of stay up in the first place go up in the first place, because obviously that sort of states the level that you're at. So, for example, if you are a player in the Championship that's regularly starting, get promoted, cool, you're now a Premier League player. People, for some reason, don't do that when it comes to managers. They go, he's still a Championship manager, though. It comes down to performances. And I think you give him the start of the season, and I think his system can work if he's got a decent, not only in terms of cash bit of investment behind him, but in terms of the actual players that have been gotten, bit of investment behind him. Because otherwise you're just sort of throwing him to the wolves.
Oh, I agree. I think ultimately, I say it's the biggest window we'll have for 10 years. Regardless of any manager, we need to do a lot of work, an awful lot of work to get that team to any sort of level, no matter who the manager is, 100%. Whether they'll do it or not, I think there's a problem that Farke is a limiting factor in that window, I think, of who he will accept. It's whether the board, whoever is in the board these days, are willing to go above and beyond him and say, actually, this is who we're buying. But of course, that doesn't really work with a manager because they just don't play them. So I don't know how. It's a really interesting time because I don't think we've got enough football people in the club in director roles that actually can make these decisions regardless of these conversations, and they're quite reliant on Farke as probably the most senior football man in the club at the moment to get those decisions right. So I don't quite know, because in the current makeup you can't sack him because there's no one even to sack him. Wasn't Ralph go, I don't know about football, but yeah, I think you should go. And that's all we're left with. Peter McCormick's in there now, but I'm not sure quite how hands-on he is. And you got Angus Kinnear, who is on Company's House at MD, who's currently going to be employed by one of our rivals. And yet he's still there. I mean, how do you feel? That really annoys me. That really irks me more than anything. How do you feel about that? Because money must be hiding information from him. So,
that's very annoying. It's incredibly annoying. And it's sort of why have we not been sort of succession planning for this? What's actually been happening here, which is an absolute pain in the arse. But a lot of people will point to sort of Daniel Farke and say, yeah, well, he didn't take, in your specific instance, Adam Armstrong, or he didn't take X player or Y player or Z player. A lot of people will look at our squad and say it is the strongest squad in the Championship. Which manager built the squad? Because you're saying that he's got all of this control over recruitment and that's why we're not getting all of these players. But if he's got control of the recruitment, you give him the credit for the strength of the squad, which includes Rampadu, Rodon, Tanaka, Gruev, Solomon, Ramazani, I can run through basically our entire
No, I agree.
starting
I agree with
lineup
that.
and say that these are players that he brought in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And an increased budget doesn't worsen your ability to pick out good footballers.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think his talent ID is pretty good. I mean, he understands football. I mean, some people said he's actually might be a better director of football than he is a manager, because actually his talent ID is decent. And as you're saying there, I 100% agree. Saying, you know, I'm pointing out some negatives in this, but absolutely all the positives are him as well. All of the positives, because he is in full control, and there's no doubt about that. And I say, but I think once you get a step up a level, but he hasn't got the experience in the Premier League. You know, it's fine, give people a try. But I say it's not about that, by the way, because if I got something to work, I sit down with them, and someone's got to run a project. I sit down and make sure they know what they're doing. I'm happy that they are, and I don't have to know every detail, but I'm happy they're competent to step into that project and manage that project. You know, and they've got every detail in their heads. So, you know, those conversations need to happen. And I'm not sure even we've got the right people to have that conversation with Farke, let alone anything else, to make the decision about him. So there's, you know, it's fine me saying this, that, and the other in grand scheme, but I think there's lots of nuance in there as well, and lots of conversations and lots of meetings to be had to get anywhere in this. And ultimately, it's the biggest transfer window we'll have for 10 years if we can make it stick, if we can make this work. Yeah. By the way, and this is a scary thought, it wouldn't surprise massively. So we lost money the last 2 years. We probably can't spend a lot of money. RG Gray's 40 million went into last year's finances. So we can't spend a fortune. We've then spent loads on transfers. It did. So we made about 80 million profit, I think, in the end, but there's lots of running costs, etc. So I don't think we spend an absolute fortune unless we think we're going to stick in the Premier League. So we've probably got to push the boundaries. But by the way, especially if we're going to try and do a stadium as well at the same time. So I'm not quite sure how that all builds together.
I know how that one works. And that one is because the way that PSR works is it's operational stuff. It's transfers, it's wages, it's all of the stuff that is directly on pitch. So like the gal in the canteen isn't going to count towards PSR, because that's not like football pitch things, or like your stewarding operation will very likely not count. In terms of stadium upgrades, that is also fine, because that's in infrastructure spending. I think you're also allowed to spend whatever you like on academy infrastructure. Women's team doesn't count either. It all just sort of like adds up to, there's a bunch of exceptions to help out with basically making sure that clubs are able to grow without being punished for doing so. So in that instance, it's all good.
So, and I don't think, to be fair, we're not looking at 700 million stadium either that we've got to find the cash for. So we like I say, I guess we'll get the investment elsewhere, and that won't impact anything else other than grow income. So that's a really good thing. I think they'll begin that very quickly. But it's just, I mean, first of all, by the way, we've got to go up. Are you happy in this situation? Are you confident?
Oh, I'm incredibly happy. In the big old group chat that we've got, I was specifically discussing with Priestley, I wonder how feasible it is to do a pitch invasion from the top of the East End. So we'll have to find out, because that's where I've ended up for the Bristol City match.
However, you've got a great view, mate. Great view.
I've accepted that like the pitch invasion isn't happening, but the vlog's cinema. Great shit.
It is going to be good, mate.
But it's going to be.
Are we meeting on Monday? Are we meeting on Monday or what?
I mean, maybe. It depends.
Maybe.
It depends on what you are.
Oh, mate, I'm going to be here, there, and everywhere. Probably fat man climbing lampposts with my top off. That'll be me. You won't be able to miss me, pal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mate, I'm on a mad one on Monday. I think it's going to be an all day. I'm having to wash the dishes from now till Monday comes, mate, and do everything.
Have you got a dishwasher? You must have a dishwasher.
Yeah, it's called Matty. I'm going to have to do everything in house, mate, till Monday. I'm going to have to do as much as I can to guarantee I'm allowed out of the house for about 12 hours straight. So, yeah, it's not a great day for me, Easter Monday, when I should be at home with kids doing stuff. But Leeds United on that day, we'll have to take priority, because we are going up on Monday. I am sure of it.
I hope so. I really hope so. By the way, because all the transfer stuff is all just fun, isn't it? It's Football Manager fun. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
They link with all these amazing players, and we're keeping our players, and you're on match of the day. Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I think to get it done mathematically, we need, off the top of my head, we need Cardiff to get something against Sheffield United to get it done by the end of our match.
Yeah, that's true. Or we'll have to wait for the result after our match, won't we?
Which is going to be such a pain, Because it's like, well, our match is finished. Now we get to wait like 2.5, 3 hours for that other match to finish.
We're going to have to try and fit.
Actually,
we're going to have to try and fit 30,000 fans into Peacock, mate. Straight from Ellen Road into Peacock to watch the game to then know if we're going.
I reckon they should just let us stay there and just watch it all on the big screen.
They should. I mean, a few people said that they should do that, and obviously, I'm assuming they aren't. But that would be.
Think how much they make from the bars.
100%. Be a super bit of business that. Be fantastic. It's going to get done Monday, I think. I can't see how they take maximum points. Obviously, the downside to that is, could we not take maximum points? I just don't see it. If you'd have asked me a few weeks ago, Joe, I'd have been saying, we're going to lose every game, Joe. We're done. But right now, we're going to win every game, and I just don't see them. They ain't going to get 6 points out of them 2 games. They ain't, no matter how well they play, no matter what kind of turnaround they may, you know, bounce back from. They ain't going to get 6 points, mate. So
this is fine, but it's like when you said everyone's getting more than 95 in the top 3. It's like you were sure of that as well.
Yeah, remind me of that one. Did you agree to play in net?
No, I didn't.
Didn't happen. No,
I didn't.
That's convenient, isn't it?
No, it is, mate. If I'm honest, I just thought, even though it has no bearing on a football result, I just can't see a world where you've got Wilder calling someone fat boy, and then he goes on a really good winning. I just don't feel like he can go from where he was a few days ago to turn it round and win it next 4 games and pushing. For me, Sheffield United are done. When your manager loses it like that, even play whatever, they're done for me now. It is game over. If I were a Sheffield United fan, I'd be thinking we're done. When he loses his head like he's lost it, I don't get how you end up going up in Premier League. I don't get how you end on that high. I don't know if you agree with that, buddy, but yeah, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think what you want from a manager is someone that A, does the tactical stuff all good, but B, does various sort of like is able to keep their head and help you to keep your head. And when he's actively starting fights with a low knee from your promotion rival, it's sort of like, right, come on, you've got to do a little bit better than that. I get the idea of show some passion,
yeah,
but at the same time, there's passion, and then there's you look like a thuggish dickhead. Please stop this. You're embarrassing everyone.
Yeah, that's it, mate. He's totally lost plot, so I don't see how he turns it round. I really don't. Right then, buddy. Unless you've got alt to add, I'm going to bring in LFC Passion, my mate Callum. Joe.
I believe I've said all I've got to say, except for Sean. Yeah, but Bamford hasn't lost 3 of his last 4 matches, so.
Right, we'll love you and leave you on that, Joe. Thanks for bobbing on, mate. You're a star. We'll speak to you soon. Take care, buddy. See you later, my mate. Bye-bye, buddy. Good lad. Right, he's been waiting patiently. Callum. Hey,
he's a savage, isn't he, Joe? I love it. Brilliant.
LFC Passion. Please go check him out. Go check his channel out. Love Callum. Big friend of mine. Big friend of the channel. How are you feeling?
Big friend of Adam.
Buddy? Big friend of Adam too, mate. Yeah?
Man, I love it. I mean, what a weekend. Wilder off his nut. Do you know what? Do you know what I really miss? Because I want to see at the game. The roar you heard from the crowd when Sheffield score.
Yeah.
You won't get that in the Premier. It's brilliant. And obviously, I didn't have the same feel if I would in the stadium, but wow, amazing. How mad is it, right? Fark steps a few metres on the pitch. He gets a band. Wilder's starting fights, calling fans fat boy, and he gets nothing. I mean,
it's crazy.
What's the fan fat? What's the fan fat? Do they want to just talk about that? Does it matter?
No.
Big bone.
Obviously,
is he big boned? Oh, right. Well,
we don't know. We've no idea. And obviously he starts kicking off in. It's a very good shirt. Cheers. And then starts kicking off. But Parker steps a few meters. It's mental. It's crazy. But there you are. It's the corruption of the EFL, my opinion, that they don't like Leeds. But great weekend, and I think we are going up on Monday. I do.
I think they do like Leeds. That's the problem. They like Leeds too much. They want them in there as their cash cow.
To a certain extent they do, because we're on Sky at stupid o'clock. I mean, 12 o'clock kickoff for a Plymouth. Stupid, but yeah, it's the way it is. We are the big sellers. Everyone wants to beat us. Everyone wants to play us. Well, you'll miss us when we're what you see later, you twats. I can't wait. I really do think it'll be happening on Monday. I think Sheffield have gone.
Do you think they'll beat Cardiff still, and do you think it'll go to that Burnley game, or do you think they could even lose to Cardiff or drop points?
A bit. I don't know which other person said it. Really good point about mentality-wise with Sheffield United that there's no pressure now because of obviously it's not done and dusted. There's still 4 games to go, but we don't have the pressure of playing for promotion because in the back of their minds they'll know that it's quite unlikely. So there'll be no pressure just to go out and play themselves. And it could work in their favour in a weird way. It could work to the point where they could win every game from now on. Because I think it'll be a tough game for us on Friday, just because I don't know what it is. They've beaten Burnley, they've beaten Sheffield at home. Yeah, they've still got something to play for. Ultimately, surviving the Championship for them, which is quite a big deal. So it's a tough game, but I do think we'll come through it. I think a massive difference to last season, the mentality-wise. We've had our blip, but the difference is we were all kicking off in our blip. We were still drawing. We only lost 1 game. Sheffield have lost 3 on bounce. I mean, I think it's just because there's more pressure with Leeds fans of going up. With Sheffield, they've still got that extra year where they can still, of course, they'll have to sell financially, but they can still bring it in because of the new owners they brought midway through the season.
No, that's fair. I do think the Championship next season, mate, will be a lot
harder. It'll be a tough because you've got.
I don't see how this season, obviously, with Luton falling away so much, it give an opportunity for a second-year parachute payment to sort of break the mould and force away into that 3. Next season, I think it'll be so hard for anyone who stays down this season. I genuinely do.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I think. Go on, Adam.
I'd say Cam, sorry. How can the top 3 not see next season, but not be Leicester? I mean, Leicester might be a bit fucked, to be fair, because they've gone up for 1 season. They spent a lot of money. They wouldn't surprise me if they went off a bit. Southampton and Ipswich in particular, they can't see that not being the top 2. Like if it all went fucking massively wrong, I mean, we do well to get playoffs next year. I think that's the thing. Like we would really struggle. We'll have to sell players. We haven't got any 40 million players left. Players left. So we'd really struggle. Massively. The wages are massive. We'd have to sell people. We'd struggle to get people in. We'd get a new manager. We'd have a squad of 13 going into the first game or something. Like it just really would be massively struggle. Thank God it's not going to happen because we'll be in the Premier League.
100%.
No, I agree. It is that pressure, and I think that's because we've had the year where we can have the wobble because we won't get up in the playoffs. Us or Sheffield, mentality-wise, Burnley have that. Is it the professional side? Probably. There are awful teams to play against Burnley, and it will be pressure for any other promotion team, as well as Sunderland. They've had so long to prepare for the playoffs. They've been out of the automatic picture for quite a while, so they've had time to build it up. They'll have players like Enzo Lafie coming back to full fitness. Dan Ballard, who's quite a key defender. Pavard, I'm not saying he's a good player, but still can come on in games and maybe cause some. So yeah, I think what is you work so hard preparing for that automatic that you'll hit the playoffs with a bit of like, well, where do we go now here, lads? It's so I don't want playoffs, and I don't think Farke wants playoffs. We want automatic. We want to be celebrating on Monday in Millennium Square, kissing random people, drinking someone's beer they've left on the side. I mean, it's built up for it.
What sort of celebration is this?
It's Leeds, mate.
A Yorkshire celebration.
Callum.
Wow.
Callum, what do you think's? I asked Sean the same question. What do you think's made us turn around like that bad form? I mean, you are right. I remember saying to Priestley, 1 win in 6 ain't good enough, but he turned around and said it's 1 loss in 6. Too many draws in there for my liking, but our bad form hasn't been as bad as obviously Sheffield United's bad form now. But what have you seen lately that's turned it around? Is it Darlow? Is it the form players we've had finally kicking back into action? Is it Farke? Has Farke get some credit? Where does the credit lie for this last 3 games, getting 7 points out of 9?
I think everything. It can start with the keeper's the massive thing. I mean, October, I thought that he should have been replaced after the first mistake. And then it's been constant ones over the season. And I think it's finally took its toll where he had to put him in. Otherwise, there could have been a freaking warfare in Ellen Road next game. I think rotation's massively handy. The Rothwell injury, I think's really helped. This is me at all. I'm not saying Rothwell's, I think he's a brilliant player.
It's a mad one because I sort of agree to what you're saying, yeah.
With Rothwell, I think his set pieces, in the nicest way, are quite overrated. I mean, for a large portion of the season, we still weren't doing good free kicks. I mean, there's only a few. Someone obviously stands out as a major one. Derby at home and Rodon got his first Leeds goal. Maybe Perot against, I think it was Millwall at home. So, that's what I'm saying. There's only a few where that stands out. Obviously, his endeavour with driving with the ball, driving the team forward, it's a massive weapon to have But the one thing Rothwell is mainly highlighted for his set pieces, and it's not really shown for the start of the season. I think Gruev, he's been brilliant. I think he's been absolute, and I think with Gruev, what it has is he's been overlooked, which is a good thing because he's doing what any CDM should do, which is where he's cleaning up and allowing the game to continue in our hands. And I really liked what he's done. And Darlow coming in. The thing with Darlow, and I thought about this when other people were talking about it, and I had my answer prepared. You see with Millier, what's he always highlighted for? Doing an amazing save. With Darlow, he's doing the basics and the obvious, and which is obviously overlooked because at the end of the day, all Leeds wanted, or all we wanted as fans, is someone who can do the basics. You didn't get over the Millier. You do an amazing save, and it'd be highlighted on every single social media, so it'd obviously grab all the attention. Darlow does the basics. I mean, the cheer that I heard from Ellen Road, I think it was it his first? I think it was his first corner save. I think Whiteman put it in the second half, and what a catch! I mean, it's quality. It's what you want from a keeper, and it's what we've missed for 5 years. A keeper who can. I think his kicking's brilliant. He made probably one error, I think, when he kicked it. I think it towards Firpo, and he just missed it. Though, and obviously the handball he got, which is fair enough, but he does the basics and he cleans up really well. So end it on that question. Everything has made us change, and I hope it continues.
By the way, on Darlow, like you say, I just wanted a steady keeper. Someone just makes the basic saves. But actually, he's a bit better than that. Like some of the catches he's made are really, really good. Like under pressure, he's really good at them. And by the way, he's made one mistake, which is a handling error, which he did very smartly, 30 yards from goal. Like Millier made all his handling errors 30 yards from goal, he wouldn't have had a problem. When he's running out there, it's mental. Like, I went, you're going to be outside your box. You're outside your box. And he just went for it. Oh my God, man. But yeah.
It's Leeds, though. It's Leeds. It's part and parcel of playing for Leeds. There's always going to be some sort of comedy error or something. Yeah. It's brilliant, though. Yeah.
He's been really good. His kicking's fine. He's been good. Sorry, Adam, go on.
No, I agree. His kicking, I love it. I think the first time I've actually seen when him playing is he'll actually find a Leeds player. Half of the time when he did kick a ball, it'd either go out of play or it'd find the opposition player. It's the small details that he's doing that are being taught because we haven't seen it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
before we let you go, Callum, I'd like to get your thoughts on what Andy said here. Ramazani, I've been quite vocal about Ramazani that he should be playing, but ultimately we're winning games with top of league. It doesn't really matter who plays, granted. How do you feel about the Ramazani sort of debacle that's come out lately?
I watched Joe's match reaction, and he touched on it quite briefly. Obviously, the post, I think is it a Bible quote he's come out with, which we've seen before in the past social media messages that obviously Cresswell's dad, Richard Cresswell, put on about his paraphrasing that his son wasn't playing. We saw what happened. He didn't play and obviously got sent off to the loose. I think with Ramazani, it's hard because I think he's a quality player. He's obviously done it in the Liga. When he has played and when he first did come through before his injury, he played really well. He got some really nice goals. He's good with both feet. His low centre of gravity play is really good. He's a tricky winger, a bit like someone that you don't know what he's going to do. So it's very hard for a defender to predict what he's going to do. Yeah. The social media won't help at his course at all because we know with Farker, whether we like it or not, he's one manager that won't take it. He won't take people in the nicest way crying they're not playing. I do. It's upsetting because I think the talent Ramazani's got, the ceiling he can get to is big. Could he have blown his chances? Potentially. Yeah. I think personally, probably to add in, that I think he'll be one of the players that we sell. If we go up or whatever happens, I think he'll go. Because I think Farker's, obviously we've seen in the past with Nonto, he's got that kind of where he'll give you a second chance. Obviously Nonto refused to play, kept him out, and obviously clearly turned it around into some cases. But I think with Ramazani, it all starts from a basic comment that's been taken out of context. All he was saying in his press conference, and I'm one of them because I did take out of context because I didn't like it. He just wanted him to improve in training. And obviously the tweet has just not helped that. It's got Leeds fans talking. I think it'll be asked in the media. I think Fark will probably address it and probably reassure people maybe. But no, I think if he does want to and his place back, he's obviously just got to keep working hard in training, clearly, from what it was clearly being portrayed.
I think getting to the Farker said we didn't say blah blah blah. I mean, ultimately, he's got nothing out of Ramazani since the Watford game, and Ramazani is a really good player, but Farker is risk averse. When Ramazani loves a shot, he loves trying something. Yeah. He's clearly a very good footballer. We've not managed to get anything out of this season. I think his ceiling's really high. I think he'd be worth a lot of money. I think ultimately there's good and bad players in football. I think the problem is if you're in a Farker team or a squad managed by Farker, if you're not in the first 11, you're automatically very close to being a bad footballer because you just don't get the minutes to prove anything else. Yeah, that's the problem. And all us fans go, "Oh, 10 minutes is shit. Oh, 10 minutes is shit." Well, you do saying 10 minutes. Whatever. Like, it's come on, it's tough. I agree. It's tough.
No, to add on to that, sorry. I think for Ramazani, he's not a Farker player. He's a good player, just not a Farker player. Farker is not a manager who will want to take risks. Therefore, like you said, Ramazani will. So obviously, he'll want to play. He'll do what he says. He basically fathers him in some cases. If he's been out of line, he won't play him. And yeah, like you said, like just a last minute, sorry, about the 10 minutes. We all keep saying, "Oh, but it's going to 10 minutes." It takes you about 10 minutes just to get into the game, to get a feel of the game, to get what the pace of the game is at. And most of the time, when Leeds, especially this season, not obviously recently because of the results, when Leeds are 2-0 up, we're kind of seeing the game out. So we're not really giving, and obviously everyone else is tired out. So you're not really going to give them the energy to go and attack because 9 times out of 10 times, we're just playing it around the back because we're keeping the ball, we're keeping it in control. Yeah. If you don't want to take any risks, like I said, we're risk adverse with Farker. So maybe he's just not a Farker player, and that could ultimately prove that he will get sold and someone else will come in. Potentially.
Yeah, I think if Farker stays in the job next season, regardless of division, I think I would be surprised to see Ramazani still here. I hope he is.
Would be as well.
But I think if you're not getting minutes in Championship and it's for levels of training, I don't think he can bust a gut that much in training that then makes him a Premier League player under Farker. Because I agree. Think he's not going to be that below par in training for me. Like I say, that's my take on it.
But to counter that, there's also pre-season that he could also improve. So there is that to take into account. But no, I agree with you. Definitely.
Yeah, I think if you're not getting minutes in Champ under a manager, I don't see how you get minutes in the Prem. I think he's a top player. Yeah. But what I will say is I think he's got a little bit lucky as Farker in terms of he hasn't played Ramazani. We've had 3 games in a week, and I think that's crazy that you've got a player of his talent who get minutes. And no matter what anyone says, I think Ramazani with that tweet was saying side before self. I don't think he was creating too much hysteria out there.
I didn't really understand it, mate.
What I'll say is, I think for a fact, without obviously I don't know what Ramazan is thinking, but I know he's a professional footballer. I know all professional footballers have some sort of ego. They all know they can play well. They all want to get to top of the game. There's no way he's happy not coming on for 3 games.
No, definitely.
It was only a couple of weeks before that he'd had a 2 game in a row when he didn't come pitch. So for me, I don't know where we go from here with him.
Yeah.
Surely this weekend, Friday, Monday, he gets minutes. If he doesn't, that'll be a stretch of 5 games. At some point, I think people have got to realise there's more issues here than just he ain't giving it enough in training. Because like I said, if he ain't giving it enough in training to such a poor level, which some people are thinking he is, he wouldn't be on bench for me. So what I will say is he's got lucky as Farker in terms of Solomon, when I thought he were looking flogged 2 or 3 games ago, has kicked on again. And I asked now about Ramazani.
See, this is what I can't understand.
I didn't think Solomon would kick on again. I thought Solomon were wavering. 3 games in a week were too much for him. Solomon's proved me wrong by his fitness. His levels come back up. If Solomon maintains it for the next 4 games, it doesn't matter about Ramazani.
No, I get you.
That's where I'm at with that now.
Because ultimately, all we want to do is get promoted, and we don't really care who plays. But just to cover up 1 second about Solomon, I remember Farker, I can't remember when it was, that he prefers, what's it called? His players to loan players, but Solomon's a loan player. And Ramazani we brought in, so that's another thing that I can't quite understand.
Yeah.
Well, because he wanted Solomon, didn't want Ramazani, like he wasn't on the list.
Maybe it could be that, but again though, another thing is Farker chooses the players, so it's one of them. But no, I think like you said, just to end it finally, if he doesn't get minutes between Friday and Monday, which I cannot wait for this weekend, I can't wait. I'm really excited for the Friday and Monday. Then if he doesn't ultimately play, then it could be bye in some cases.
Yeah. No, David, I don't think. Piro's ever come on for 5 or 10 minutes, mate. He would always get in 25, 30. But yeah, players that this season have impacted off the bench. Ramazani, one thing I will say about Ramazani, he hasn't impacted off the bench at all this season. I don't think. He may have had a game.
He got a goal
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
yeah.
On that, by the way, Piro Pro, like, there's not many players around that can do what Pro does, which is impact a game in 1 or 2 touches, because he can just find the back of the net.
Yeah.
And James is quite similar. They can just push it past someone and cross it. You know, both can they get up to, like, lots of players need a few touches to get into the game. They need to cut back, Pro can just be through on goal, just finish it, or edge of the box, just put it in the goal, because he's such a good finisher. So Pro being a good sub is because of exactly the type of footballer Pro is.
Yeah, no, because of the way the game is. With Pro, the way he's not exactly a fast player, so therefore at the start of the game he's quite fast. And when he was coming on sub, because I think he got like 2 or 3 goals come off the bench in that certain period, it impacts him. How about Danny?
I'm gonna bring Danny in for end, mate. His last one in, so we'll just have a chat between us.
So I'm sorry, I was now.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, pal. But yeah, I love it. Whenever I mention Ramazani, Philip Anderson always comes in. It's all right, Philip, mate. I actually don't care at a minute. To be fair, it's all a means to an end in Adam, because I like I say, I'm super impressed with Solomon. I was kicked on again, and
I am as well. I think
when Solomon's been on it this season, he's probably someone that hasn't been spoke about as been a player this season, because he had a slow start, he's had a bit of a wobble in middle, but he's been right up there. As Solomon has probably been one of his top 5 performers with Bogle, James, and he's been right up there. Solomon, when he's been on it, he's been one of the best players in the division, and in that 18-game run, he were right at forefront of that. I thought when he were wavering, he wouldn't kick on again, and he's proved me wrong, because now he looks as good now as he did.
That goal against Preston is something I've been waiting to see all season. I knew it had come at some point. Obviously, we saw it. Yeah.
Well, he's got a good striker, and he's just not done it. It's weird. Yeah. He's had quite a few opportunities.
Yeah. The reason why he hasn't done it, he's already said, the injury that he had in his knee, it's having to put the pressure on his right hand side to flick in and do it. And I've got some news for you, right? You won't see Dan James the rest of the season.
That's a great.
Don't tell me that.
His injury is worse than thought.
Okay. That happens a lot at Leeds United. That doesn't surprise me.
Well,
he was always going to miss more than one. The press conference tomorrow, isn't it? So we'll find out. But yeah, I mean, there's 4 games left. I don't really. Whatever will be, will be. We've got enough to get us through.
I think press conference is Thursday, not tomorrow.
I think it is. I think it's tomorrow. I think.
Only 2 days before.
Yeah, but sometimes when he's got a couple of games coming up, like the bank holiday one, 2 days apart, he normally does on the Thursday, and then he'll do the Monday.
Where does it come from? Where did it come from, this news? Someone reported it.
The news, the thing, my contact has only let me down once out of about 20 things that they've told me.
Well, this is a great way to the positive.
I don't really, we've got options. There's options there. Like Dan James has been unbelievable player of the season, but Ramazani or otherwise, I don't really like Nonto and Solomon's starting wingers is fine. Like, it's quality at level. Like, Nonto, hopefully more he plays, the better he'll get. And he'll need to.
And I don't get how everybody's happy for this weekend. We don't go up this weekend, I told you.
Oh, don't start this, Danny. Don't start this. We ended on a positive, mate. We are going up Monday.
I've told you. Sheffield win the next 2 games. We draw on Friday. We beat Stoke. We beat Stoke. We draw against Bristol. And we beat Plymouth.
Yeah, Bob was brilliant. Well, good comment.
No, we're all right, mate. We're going up this weekend. We're going to end on a high. Sheffield United will pick up 3 points out of 6.
I have got my tent ready just in case, though, because I'll be down at Millennium Square in my tent.
You better be, mate. You better be. That'll be week after Millennium Square. What'll that be? When the season ends? Normally when they do the bus thing and that, it normally goes to Town Hall. It don't go to Millennium Square. So if they do the bus tour, that'll be at the Town Hall. It's just that the fans are all meeting at Millennium Square if we go up. Okay. Well, I'll be there.
When they went up in '92 and I bunked off school at 11-year-old to climb lamppost at City Square to watch that bus come round.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see you do that.
I couldn't do it now. I couldn't do it now. Lamppost will fall over.
I know. Right then, I think we're going to leave it there. 2 hours we've been going at it.
Wow.
I've been very quiet tonight. I've
enjoyed that.
I bet you have, mate. I bet you have. It's all about giving other people the floor and it's try to be professional. I just sit back. I provide the platform and then just let you guys go. You know what I mean? So it's one of them.
A good platform.
No, it's been great. It's a great.
If my bet comes in, I will throw £100 super chat in for you, Matty, and I'll give you a lot of numbers.
What's we need to finish second for that?
Yeah,
Danny, I want champions.
Danny, I love you, mate. But I'd turn down £100 to be champions, mate.
I want 100%. Champions. I don't like the feel of second. It doesn't feel the same. I don't know why.
I've already seen that trophy in COVID thing, so I've seen it once. I don't need to see it again.
Well, I haven't seen it, so let me experience it, please.
Oh, Bob, I know, mate. I know you're right now. I know. I'm getting pelters for mate. Honestly, 4 or 5 games ago, it looked like everybody were on course for 95 points. No matter what, Bob, you could not foresee Sheffield United losing to them 3 teams.
I say we win. I say we get promoted on 95.
Yeah,
I think Monday.
It's mad. I thought all 3 would have 95, and I know you didn't, Adam. I know you didn't think that, but Danny, how many points this weekend? Richard's asked. How many points do we get this weekend? You say
4,
but you think they get 6? Yeah, I think 6 for us, 3 for them. That's what I'm going. 6 and 3. Oh.
No, it'll be 4 for us. It'll be 4 for us. 6. It'll be 6 for Sheffield United. It'll be 4 for Burnley.
Yeah, fair play. Well, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, Danny, thanks for coming on, buddy. You're a star. Big fan of that channel. Love you. I'll see you later, my mate. I'll speak to you later on. Thank you. See you later, buddy. Go check out Danny Rumsey's channel if you haven't already. Please. Bye, Danny. Callum, just knocking people off. Bye, Callum. Love you.
See you later, guys. Take care.
Channel. See you later, my mate.
Love to both your family.
Thank you, Callum. Thank you. Lovely to hear that, mate.
Yeah,
see you later, guys.
See you later, my mate. Go check out LFC Passion. Callum's a great lad as well. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone who's been on. Adam, thank you for helping me. I don't think I could have got through it without you, mate. You just go off on a tangent, and it means I can just focus on chat because there's a lot of bodies in it tonight. So thanks so much for everyone who's been in chat. It's been a great stream, to be fair. Not always the easiest thing to do. Subscriber shows plus handling chat and juggling stuff around. So nice to have Adam on here to help out as well. So much appreciated. Everyone who's been in tonight, love doing it. Love giving a bit of a floor for people to come and chat and speak their mind. But yeah, we're pissing it this weekend, aren't we, lad? We are smashing it, and we are ending on a high on Monday.
I hope so.
With promotion. And then we've got 2 games to go for that title, my friend. That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Right, and guys, so please, tick a likes on the way out. Please subscribe if you're new here. And please come back on Thursday, not Friday, for Late Night Leeds for me, Sean at Wilco Wise, and Adam again. Good old Lofty. Elton John's
Don't you start.
Love it, man. Love it. But yeah, thanks a lot, Adam, mate. Much appreciated you coming on, buddy. And take care, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.